Welcome to the second episode of Super Friends Uncut. I'm Mike. That's Brian. And that's...
Hello.
You introduce yourself as whatever you would like, because I'm not sure what to use.
Changes on a daily basis.
What's up? It's Big Papa Leon.
Okay, so he's now Leon. Last time he was Ian, but he's Leon now. Not sure if that's legal or not, but we're going to go with it.
It's very legal and very cool.
It is a cool
You
name.
gonna change your Twitter, Ian? Because it still says Ian.
Yeah.
That's my.
I don't know what to call you now. Should I call you Leon, or are you fine with me still calling you Ian?
Ian is a persona that the actual character artist Leon plays.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're fine with Ian if I just stick to Ian?
Yeah, I can get back into character.
All right, that's fair. All right.
Okay. Well, after that, we, as you can see, his name now says Leon for you there, just in case you guys forget what his name might be. Malcolm says it's totally cash money, bro.
Cash money, young money, money forever, money for life.
So, the thing I wanted to throw you guys as a surprise is, on social media, there's been the things going around. I'm sure you guys have seen them. I don't know if you participated. I think Brian and I discussed one. They present you with 9 things, and they say, you get to keep 3 and all the rest go. It's been this thing that's going around because people are bored as shit, is the way I look at it. They're just all over, different random groups of things. So I figured, let's look at classic video games and make you guys choose 3 of the 9 that I have for you that you get to keep. The other ones never existed. You don't know about them. They never existed. You never got to play them. You don't... Nothing. And the other 3 you can play forever.
So it's not just I don't get to play them. It's they don't exist
Poof.
and forever change the gaming history.
If that's the way you want to look at it, yes.
Let's say, because if Half-Life is on there and I don't pick it, ruin shooters for a decade.
I went PS1 and 64 and back.
Okay.
So that would be like prior to Half-Life.
Okay.
So Half-Life is not there. So, alright, let's look at the 9 I have, because the 9 I've got here, first we have Shadow of the Empire from Star Wars.
I think I should be writing these down so I know.
Yeah, go
That's
ahead.
what I'm doing.
Go ahead, let me know that you guys are good, and we'll discuss it. What's up, Dig? But Shadow of the Empire from Star Wars, Super Street Fighter 2. That is the version that has T-Hawk, Cammy, DJ, Fei Long, all those folks. Not Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but Super.
On what platform?
Your choice.
Because that's very important for this game.
Yes, that game, your choice. The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. The original Resident Evil 2, not the remake, the PlayStation 1, Resident Evil 2. Final Fantasy VII, again, PlayStation 1 edition. Madden 95. My opinion, still the best Madden that there ever was.
That's just unequivocally false.
GoldenEye.
Was there something between RE2 and Madden?
Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
You sounded so thrilled by that game.
It's just not the best Final Fantasy on, I think, that platform.
On PlayStation?
Yeah.
I mean, Tactics was on there, wasn't it?
Probably. I mean, I'd have to look into it. You're making me look into this.
Is
that what
nonetheless,
we're doing right
this isn't about... These are not the 9 games that I think are the best games.
now? I know.
This is just 9 games you have to choose from. Anyways, Madden 95, then GoldenEye. After GoldenEye, we have Mega Man X. And last of your 9 is Streets of Rage. Do not ask how I compiled this list. It was just the
How'd
first
you compile
9
that list?
old games that I could think of. just off the top of my head. I included Resident Evil and Final Fantasy for a reason, but
What reason is that?
we'll get to that very shortly. That's going to be our first topic.
So, you might have to define the question again. What are we choosing
3
again
games
out of this?
that you get to play forever and you get to have played, and the other 6 games never existed. You never get to play again. You don't even know about. You never played them. You have to give them
So
up
I'll admit,
forever.
some of these on these lists I've played briefly or not sunken as much time into as the 3 that I will probably end up choosing.
Algum says he's played none of these games. You have some serious homework to do. There is definitely...
We have to ask how old you are also, because I feel like generational wise, like we're a little bit older generation. Well, not older generation, but
Yes.
people start coming up and
Technically.
playing games now. You start at PS3 or something like that when we grew up with Nintendo when it came out.
Yeah.
So I think our library of games is a little bit.
We were playing Duck Hunt with a light gun that was at the cutting edge of technology
Yeah.
at the time.
Old tube TVs, not flat screen, not HD.
Well, if you're playing Smash Melee, you're still playing on a CRT.
So
I have 2 choices that I know are locked in for me. I'm deciding on a third.
I know it's GoldenEye.
GoldenEye for sure, hands down, has to be my top one because that's the one I've played the most probably out of all of these.
I mean, you have to
That's
take
fair.
GoldenEye. It brought.
But I mean,
think
the amount
it
of
did a
first-person
lot.
shooters that I played that kicked off that whole console first-person shooter generation. Between that and Halo, I feel like those are the 2.
and Quake.
Was it
Quake
Phantom
was
Dark?
technically Quake was a big PC game though. Like I didn't play shooters on PC. I
You
get
didn't
into them on
Quake
console.
2 or whatever it was on 64? Was
Like
it 2 or 3 that went to
no.
64?
No, I never played that one on 64. GoldenEye and Perfect Dark were the 2 for me on 64 that I played all the time.
Okay.
Like where you'd have friends over and have parties specifically to just pass the controller and play 4-player split screen.
Oh, God, yeah. We tried
then
that
watch
this
Perfect
past
Dark,
year.
Perfect Dark was good. Like GoldenEye and was at the point where it ended friendships for some people because it got so competitive with some of that stuff.
It was that first game that started that.
Yes,
Kinda
Perfect Dark was
thing.
good because it helped. You could sit on the couch with your friends and play the computer. So that was a little bit more fun and friendly. You get pissed off at the computer and not each other sitting next to each other. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So those 2 shooters for me were hands down what got me into shooting games. So GoldenEye for me, hands down, and Ocarina of Time, number 2, flat out.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, the adventure style of that. Granted, I haven't played as many Zelda games as I would like. I know I played Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time. I have I got Wind Waker for GameCube, I think, which I got into and then never finished. Which I've heard that one's really good too. I just never took the time to finish that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've played any other Zelda games. I have the one for Switch, which I haven't even started.
Same. I have it sitting there ready to go, ready to be played, and I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
I
I know
know
that is I know that's a time suck. I know I want to play it. I've heard so many great things about it. I just need to try to devote the time to do it.
Would you say, Ian?
Did you play Majora's Mask?
I did.
I did not.
Okay,
I
I was
played
wondering.
Ocarina
I
of
was like, you
Time.
skipped that one. I felt like I
Yeah.
was like, wait for it.
We had it. My sister got into that one more than my sister played Ocarina of Time with me, and I remember sinking a lot of time into that and beating it. And I think she was trying to play it too. I think she beat it also. And then I kind of fell off and started playing other stuff, and she stuck with Zelda and played the crap out of Majora's Mask. So she really liked that one. I never got into that one.
I would say I never played the crap out of Majora's Mask, but I played it like to beat it. Whereas like Ocarina of Time, it was like, okay, we got to hunt down 100 gold Skulltulas. We got to do this ridiculous big Goron sword quest.
Yeah.
Just collect and do everything in that game. And I feel like that was the first time I ever did that in a game.
Yeah, we had the like the strategy guide you had to buy, like the book that just told you how to do stuff.
the old Prima or whatever the company was at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I couldn't get past that water temple at my age. I just was completely lost.
Before
I think
you
I
could
got
look the answers up on the internet or watch video walkthroughs, you had to figure it out yourself or buy the strategy guide. Those were your 2 options.
I got so lost I had to start the game over because I couldn't figure out how to get out of the water temple or finish it. Like I was
Yep.
just that lost in there. I had to start the game over.
Yeah, those dungeons are rough.
So did you beat it after? Have you played it as an adult and completed it?
Oh, I mean, I eventually got the strategy guide and started over.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I
That's
beat it
fair.
a couple times as a kid. I haven't gone back since.
I want to
God,
say
it's been
the
so long. I
last time
think
I played it was 3DS when they released it for that.
Mhm. I tried, I think, the demo or something of that, and I liked it, but I just never bought it. I didn't do too many 3DS games as I thought I would. I
Yeah.
mainly stuck to Fire Emblem.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, like I so far, Ocarina of Time is right on that edge for me of in or not in. But I'll let you guys continue. There's 4 games for me on that list that are really tough. But
Yeah, I mean, like I said, those are the two that are a lock for me. The last ones I'm trying to decide between are Shadows of the Empire and Resident Evil 2.
okay,
I
For
think,
me, Super Street Fighter 2 and Resident Evil 2.
okay,
That's where it gets tough. That's where I have to make the first real cut. Everything else, I'd leave it. I'd rather be playing 2K football anyways.
okay.
oh yeah, that 2K, I still have 2K5. That game was awesome.
Yeah, I wish we still lived in that
Well,
world of $20 football games.
That was the first one they got, I think, with the ESPN license, right? They had like Chris Berman doing
Yeah,
halftime and everything for you.
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
so fucking
It's
good.
awesome. They even
Terrell
had a
Owens was
fir-
on that cover first, wasn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
And they had the first person mode, which sucked, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. First person
Oh yeah,
was not good.
they had like all the
Uh,
mini games in like your room and shit. You could buy like I think air hockey tables or some shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
I want
It
to say it
was
was probably
just
the last like sports game that I devoted a shit ton of time to.
I see. I just changed to playing NHL and devoted most of my college years to that.
NHL
That was all
'94
game.
nearly made this list. It was
That would have had a much higher chance of Madden being on here.
what Madden '95, man. I just always remember the good old times of Madden '95, like just how ridiculous that game was, and the commentary was so awful but hilarious. I don't know. It doesn't like for me. The last two would be Resident Evil or Mega Man X.
Okay, we have three different like it's all Resident Evil and then three different something else's.
Yeah, I mean, I would just be the first to say I'd probably still go Resident Evil 2. It's too
I'm
good.
starting to think like
It's just
like
too
Ian was
fucking good.
talking about, like the repercussions of like not choosing one of these games, and then the fallout of like the ripple effect of like, okay, well this game doesn't get made, so what effect does that have on the gaming industry going forward? Like I
Well,
like Shadows of the Empire, but I don't think it did too much to like push the genre forward or anything like that. Like there's nothing
no,
in
it
Shadows
did
of the
nothing.
Empire that's like, oh, you know what, it did that, so let's. The only thing I can think of is the Battle of Hoth in that game pushed, and I think greenlit basically Rogue Squadron,
Oh yeah,
which I love.
definitely. Yeah, it made Rogue Squadron possible, but again, Rogue Squadron didn't really do anything that we're seeing today. I don't think.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of like flight sim games for console.
Right.
I'm just thinking of games that I like to play after. Like Rogue Squadron was another one. I probably sunk more time into that than Shadows.
And
So
I would say it didn't really advance Star Wars games because they've made three in the last decade.
Right. Yeah.
yeah, Star Wars games.
They peaked with KOTOR. It's been all
Yeah.
downhill since.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Fallen Order's
Battlefront
pretty
2
good. Battlefront 2 gets a bad rap, but that's a good fucking game.
It got a bad rap to start, deservedly so. It deserved it at the start. Since then, they have put the work in, and now to pick that game up and start, it's pretty fucking good. Like at this point.
See, I would argue the game itself was fantastic when it came out. Well, the problem was the progression system and the loot box stuff. That's not. I wouldn't classify as that as the game being bad.
Well, so here's what I would say: is it still feels a little different to me than it did at the start now, because at the start, as soon as I started playing it, I said, "Oh my god!" Like the original Battlefront for Xbox One. I still, even to this day, I feel like it has better, snappier shooting than this game does.
To go back and compare, because it's been a while since I played that first one for Xbox One for this generation.
I just feel like this one they allowed you to play in like third person in either game, but in the first one I preferred to play in first person just like I do in this one. And the first person shooting in the first one felt solid. In the first person shooter version of the current one still feels a little clunky. But it feels better, a lot better now than it did when it launched. I feel like they've put refinements into it. I haven't like kept up to date with their updates and whatnot, what they've said. You know, since
I know that I think because I do try to follow what they're doing. I think the last thing I saw that they were supposed to do, they got delayed with everything that's going on, but they're supposed to add the Scarif map from Battlefront 1 in and do some updates.
That's a good map.
Yeah.
That was actually
so I'm excited
one of the
to get
maps
some.
in the first
Yeah, I want to see
Battlefront.
some Rogue One content come in. I don't know if they're adding more heroes. Like I think in Battlefront 1, the heroes for that were Krennic and Jyn.
Yes.
So I don't know if they're going to put them back in also.
The thing
Didn't they
that's...
just
Go ahead.
didn't they just add more heroes? I think like Anakin and stuff.
The last two they put in were BB-8 and the First Order equivalent, the black Rolly droid. I can't think of the name.
Oh, seriously? I didn't realize they did that. They're heroes, or are they just troops?
Yeah, they're hero characters.
Interesting. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, that came with the Rise of Skywalker update.
Oh, okay. I haven't played since that happened. Like, for me, the disappointing thing, they said they're going to announce, like, when they put Anakin and, like, General Kenobi in, and Grievous and Dooku, and I'm thinking... I would have much rather seen them actually put Ahsoka in a game, finally.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
At that point, it was just like, you're putting in this Clone Wars stuff, where the fuck is Ahsoka? Like, this is your most popular, maybe most popular character around right now. Among the, the hardcore fandom of Star Wars. She might be the most popular character.
And I feel like if you like read the internet, there's people that have supposedly like data mined the game, and they're like, "Oh, look, we're seeing voice quotes from Ahsoka, and Ahsoka talking to Padme, or Padme talking to us, and all this other stuff where it says like it should be in the game, it should be released." But they've been saying that for 2 years, and it hasn't come out. So,
yep,
we'll have to wait and see.
Well, back around to the conference. This happens to us. We mentioned Star Wars, and we go down a rabbit hole. That's not out of the ordinary. So where do you end up, having said that? Do you just choose Resident Evil 2?
For me, I think, again, starting to think of like what comes after Resident Evil 2. I think without Resident Evil 2, we don't get Resident Evil 4, which, that was the Resident Evil game for me that I played the most. So I'm going to have to stick with Resident Evil 2.
But think about this, though. If you don't get that, then we get Silent Hill as the main horror game. And then let me go on. See, also with this list, then you're also not picking Mega Man. So Capcom has 2 hits gone. We're no longer Mega Man X, no longer RE2. So instead of Konami, they're the ones making pachinko machines.
Oh, God.
So, and then with the Silent Hill, I finally get that fucking Del Toro Kojima Silent Hill. Because there's no competition. That's the perfect world. That's why I'm picking Super Street Fighter 2.
You know what? That's a fair point to make. That is a very fair point to make. Looking at the companies. I mean, for me, I'd still go Resident Evil 2 for replayability. Like, once you do everything in Mega Man, you've done it. You can speed run it, but that's about it. Although you can go the far route and deep dive to unlock the Hadouken, which it's in there. It's a thing.
Well, it wouldn't exist in your universe. Well, I guess Street Fighter 1 would have came out. Yeah. So maybe.
Well, maybe they invented it for Mega Man X then. I don't know.
All of a sudden, all the tweets you guys were sending back and forth about time travel and trying to figure out time travel, I'm like, it's hurting my brain trying to figure out the chain of reactions that
I didn't know that was going to be relevant.
Yeah, no, neither did I, honestly, because I sent that tweet just as, just like, oh, see you in the future, as in, like, now. But now it's coming down to this shit. But that'll play... Go ahead.
I would say, without Super Street Fighter 2, I almost don't know if you have the whole fighting game community. That whole weird fucking bunch of people that are also amazing and shit. And I think
Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I was gonna say Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct still might have pushed that forward at that time.
Super Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter 2 is just
Oh, it's
Just
bigger
the
than either of
iconic
them.
one. And it basically sometimes, depending on what Street Fighter they're on, is the community.
Yeah, no,
So
you're
I think
absolutely right.
I think
Fair.
it's a
Yeah.
major, and it's done a lot for esports in general.
Yes, absolutely.
It's basically for a while fighting games, and then MOBAs started coming in, and then I forgot people watched StarCraft till just like 5 seconds ago. And then now you have all the battle royales and stuff getting popular. But I think it's just, and I really like. I'm not a big Street Fighter guy. I'm more of a Soul Calibur guy. So I just don't know if we get there, because now Soul Calibur was on this list. It's just, I would have just picked that 3 times.
See, I'm more of a Tekken person. Like, I like Mortal Kombat and Tekken more than I like Street Fighter.
And you strike me as a Dead or Alive kind of guy.
I have played them. I enjoy the volleyball games.
I was gonna say he has the volleyball games for sure.
I played, what was the one called, like Red Roses or something? Rumble Roses. I played Rumble Roses.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, not a lot of people do. I think they made.
I remember the
ones
name.
now.
I remember the name. I never actually played the game.
Yeah. I played the volleyball one on my GameCube because they put that out on GameCube for some reason.
Hey,
not sure
Chris, thanks
I
for
feel like that goes against the
subscribing.
code of contact for Nintendo.
You would
Chris said
think.
Soul Calibur was good for sure, Ian, so he agrees
Oh,
with
yeah.
you.
Well, I'm just thinking about it now because they have the new beach volleyball one, and I'm pretty sure that's on Switch too.
Wait, they're still making the beach volleyball games?
Oh, they only made 2, and it came out on, I think, PS4, Vita, and then they made a Switch version like 2 years later after those ones.
Oh goodness. Okay.
But there's 2 different versions of it. It's a whole
have you
thing.
seen
I don't
have you seen the videos of people that have modded that game to like even have like more boob physics? Like even more ridiculous boob physics like
I'm surprised that it's possible
yes,
to add.
that's the one I showed you that's so ridiculous. Oh, it's possible. Like, they made it ridiculous so that, like, a girl just laying there still, it's just, like, all over the fucking place.
Now I'm thinking about that. It's called High School of the Dead, and it's about the zombie apocalypse. And at one point, I think it's some girl shooting a sniper rifle, but she's shooting it through like another girl. But luckily, the other girl, her boobs are like swaying, so it goes like right in between them as they're swaying like this, like that half millisecond when there's clear room. And that's all I can think about now with that swaying shit.
They were a little more than half naked, Chris. They were just basically naked, like... Didn't it get down to the point where it was just pasties in the
The volleyball games?
Yeah,
Or Dead or Alive or the volleyball games?
the volleyball games.
Probably, but I don't remember that in the GameCube version. I think it's stuck to swimsuits, but the new one,
Okay.
I haven't played it yet because I don't have a PS4. And it's in VR! I don't know if you know that. It's in VR!
Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball and be in VR. Holy shit.
Yes.
Cheney says there's been
VR.
3 of the volleyball titles.
Okay.
They were always technically
Check your facts, Ian.
swimsuits. But, I mean, like, Cheney, I definitely remember some strings with basically pasties attached to the strings.
Was that the wrestling game? Maybe that was the wrestling game.
I don't know.
I
do remember, because of Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball, me and my brother actually bought like a real beach volleyball game that was actually fun.
You know what?
Just because we got in the volleyball games.
I was gonna say, let me be completely honest. Rumble Roses was the
Konami.
wrestling game. Okay, so
So Konami not making Chica machines in this universe. That's all I'm saying.
so complete honesty. Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball had a solid volleyball like game engine.
Yeah, it was like
The actual
weird.
act of playing volleyball in that game worked. Like it was
Yeah,
really good.
It might be the best volleyball game ever.
It seriously might. Like even if you put them in like normal clothing, it would play like a volleyball simulator. Like it was that quality.
Yeah.
And it was shocking. I expected it to be just a complete shit show. You know,
No,
like the first time you go and you're like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And then it actually was fucking fun to play the volleyball.
So you figure that was more made for an Eastern audience, so now I'm wondering if like volleyball's big over there or something, or they were just like,
I was just thinking
Hey.
that. Yeah.
we got to make a good one. We can't
Like,
have
why that sport? Is it
You know,
the
there's
only
something
one they
that
could
came
think of
into
to
my
put them in
mind.
bikinis?
There's something that came into my mind. I'm just not gonna say because I should.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways,
I'll pass this forward. It's a good game, just embarrassing to play. That's true. You don't want to play that with an audience.
Yeah, just like watching interspecies reviewers with your parents.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. But I was going to segue
I don't
off of Resident Evil 2, and what you said about Resident Evil 4, Brian, actually plays right into the first topic. We're going to talk about the remakes that are kind of dominating the gaming landscape this spring with Animal Crossing. It's like remakes of Resident Evil and Final Fantasy. What?
It's a new Animal Crossing. It's not a remake.
Yes, I was saying with Animal Crossing.
Oh,
two
I thought
remakes
you were
and Animal Crossing. No,
the
no, no.
fuck
Like,
is Animal Crossing remake of? I mean, yeah, it's basically the same game every time, but it's not a remake.
I mean, basically dominating this spring, you have Warzone, which is in a remake of Modern Warfare. You have Resident Evil 3 remake, Final Fantasy 7 remake. Then you have Animal Crossing and Valorant, which are really the big things going on.
Mm-hmm.
But they just announced, Brian, that they're doing the Resident Evil 4 remake. So
Why?
Saw that.
It doesn't need it. I agree.
No, because the other two remakes were to make them more like Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
So how do you make Resident Evil 4 more like Resident Evil 4?
Well, the thing that bugs me most is that I would rather see Code Veronica first. I don't mind bringing up 4 to modern standards after that, but Code Veronica is the one that's still out there in most need of a facelift.
So I know they've done Resident Evil 4, like they've remade it for, like, it was original GameCube, and then it went to what, like PS2?
It went everywhere.
And then it went to, you know, they not redid it, but tried to update it or whatever for, like, PS4 and Xbox. Like, it's on the store. You can buy it now for current-gen consoles.
Not remade.
Okay. So it's the same game, like, is the only thing because I never bought the remastered ones.
Anime.
That release. So, like, is the shooting mechanic still the same? Do you have to stand still when you shoot, or can you move and shoot at the same time? Did they ever change that?
I know they changed that in the Resident Evil like the Resident Evil remake remaster of the original Resident Evil that came on, like, the
You
HD
just broke my brain. I don't know what you're talking about.
So when they remade the first Resident Evil game, you remember, like, it came with GameCube? At that time, it was, like, the first one to get remade.
Right.
So they remade it, and it went as the old one did with the tank controls originally.
Right. Yeah.
Then they remastered it to HD and released it for Xbox One and PS4 and all that. And they removed that so you could move and shoot.
For the original one.
For the original one. But as Cheney says, all the Resident Evil 4s have the same gameplay. It's just a facelift graphically.
So you're still over the shoulder. That's the camera view I like. Oh, Jesus, I keep kicking my thing. But even when you have to aim and stop and shoot, you can't, like, use one joystick to move, like modern shooters, right? I guess. Okay.
So maybe that's part of it.
Because that was the first game that did that over the shoulder for Resident Evil. So maybe it's just too ingrained in the, the engine.
Okay.
You could move diagonally.
Yeah, okay. So I guess they just made the movement more dynamic with the HD remaster. But I thought you could aim and move, though, in the HD remaster. You might not have been able to shoot, but you may have been able to ready the weapon, and then as soon as you shot, you would stop.
Okay.
So
I guess that's slightly better than what the original one. Because the original one, as soon as you aimed, you couldn't move. You were stuck on the ground.
Well, yeah, right. And I feel like this, as soon as you press the trigger, you stop dead.
Okay.
I'd have to play it again. It's been a while since I played the remaster, but I own, like, all of them on Xbox. Like, every time they've released this shit, I own them. But, like, I remember, like, even now, the ones that came out on GameCube were the original games, but man, are they valuable. I sold them myself. I had my copies of them that I sold when I saw, like, I don't know, 8 years ago how valuable they were. And you could sell them back then for the set of however many games it was, like 0, 1, 2. Well, no, the first one wasn't. It was 0 and 1 were not that valuable. But 2, 3, and Code Veronica, I sold for like $120 a piece. Because they just didn't print many of them.
Because I think I got 4, and then I think I remember either maybe renting at the time when they released like 2 and 3 and some of those other ones. I was like, oh, I'll rent them and give them a shot. And then by the time I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy them. I want to own them. I want to go back and play them when I want. And then I couldn't find them. And then the ones you could find, you're right, they were just so so expensive. I was like, well, I can't afford this just for one game. No way.
Yeah. And if you like now, if you have one unopened or something, it's like a high value collector's item. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward to the 4 remake, but I'd rather see Code Veronica first. But that's not what we're gonna get. Looks like we're gonna get 8, and then the 4 remake, and then we don't know what after from everything that we're hearing.
Oh, they are doing 8?
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. They're still going to make new ones.
New ideas? No word yet on whether or not 8's going to be first person, like 7 or not. I liked 7, but it didn't feel as much like Resident Evil as I would like because of the first person perspective. Like, I like it as a game, as a Resident Evil 4 entry, or Resident Evil entry.
Well, you
I
get
never played that one.
storytelling things with it. I feel like
Definitely do. You might be a little bugged out by it, to be fair, with your horror aversion.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I was like, yeah, I'm all right.
Well, to
What
be
about
fair,
VR?
oh
What?
god, in VR.
Oh, VR. Yeah, no, fuck no, no. That's a hard no.
You can't hear anything else but like the in-game music, and you have that.
I can't.
Oh god.
Like horror games, like I like Dead Space. I fucking love Dead Space, but I have to play it with the lights on, the sound through my TV. I can't play it with headphones because it scares the shit out of me. Those horror games
fair.
that do so well with sound design, I can't play them with headphones because they work too well and it scares the shit out of me.
So
If
one
any horror game makes you put the headphones on, they should win a sound design award.
Yes.
I was gonna say, honestly, it's not really as much of a horror game. There's like disturbing elements, I guess you could say, but Senua's Sacrifice has the best sound I've ever experienced in any video game. And it uses like almost ASMR to fuck with you. Like the gist of the game, not to get too in depth, but you're going down like the rabbit hole of like a woman who's gradually losing her mind is the character that you're portraying. And you hear voices in your head through your headset, but they also use like ambient noise to fuck with your brain. TTV William, what's up? How's it going? But they use that to
could set
mess
it
with
up,
you.
like have TV sound and then also headphones, like headset sound in a game. Somehow require people to have both things set up. I feel like, wonder if you could do something with that. Just thinking about it now.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'd have to talk to somebody that builds games because I couldn't.
I'll talk to Kojima. I'll talk to
Yeah, talk to Kojima.
He's
let
probably
him know.
receptive to Twitter. Hey, bro, you try sound?
I mean,
Oh, there is a lady that does like on YouTube horror like themed ASMR. Like she's done House of a Thousand Corpses and stuff.
perception. Okay.
Does not surprise me.
Yeah, there's you can find
It's
anything.
fucking spooky. Like, why am I doing this?
Why am I here? But then you can't stop listening.
It's real relaxing, but then it's frightening.
That's what you listen to when you try to go to sleep.
Oh God, no! Try to sleep.
So this spring we've had Resident Evil 3 remake, which I played on stream. Some people were here to watch it. And what I would say, that game, it was short, but it was fantastic. It should have been a DLC for the 2 remake, honestly, with the length of it. And maybe release Resistance separately.
What was it that it's like the size? Like that was the length. It felt like they shortened it.
What do you mean?
Like that's the length of what Resident Evil 3 is.
No.
Yeah, I don't think they shortened it. I'm pretty sure that's how long the game is.
You never go to the clock tower.
I'm just saying, I think it still only takes like 6-7 hours to beat the original one.
I was gonna say it's a little bit shorter than the original. The original took, like, for speedrunners today, the original is roughly the same as speedrunners for Resident Evil 2. That's the best way I can think to describe it. Like, your average person we can't look at, but like the grading system on this And the grading system on the original was roughly the same as Resident Evil 2, like under 2 hours to get the top rating and things like that. But that was for like top ratings, not for your average playthroughs. It also, the thing it was lacking for me was puzzles. Like it didn't feel like there was anything that felt like a puzzle that I had to sit there and solve. And that's one of the things I like.
Galaxy brain, though?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is it because you got that big old galaxy brain, though?
No, there just wasn't any of that. Like, it just didn't exist in the game. Like, it was...
Well, I just remember I beat Resident Evil 3 when I was a kid, and I don't think I struggled too much with it, so I can't remember if there was, like, a lot of puzzles.
Yeah, there was.
I feel like there couldn't have been. So I did well.
Well, there was more... Again, you probably had somebody tell you how to do some of them at some point, I would guess.
Yeah, the strategy guide for that, Ian.
Yeah,
I honestly don't recall.
I mean, nonetheless, it felt... If they took Resistance away from it, it felt like it could have been a DLC. At a lesser price. Because obviously they offered them both at one price. They could have separated that and offered them for a lesser price separately. And I still feel like Resident Evil Resistance would have sold off of its base idea, which I only dove in and played like 1 or 2 matches. Which, it's not bad, but it's not... You know, it's not Dead by Daylight. It's not Friday the 13th. It's not one of those games that it could have been similar to. It's not there. It may get there someday if they tweak it. But
what's Resistance? Is that the multiplayer part of it?
Technically it's a completely separate game. But it came as one price bundled with Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, okay.
So the idea of Resistance is there is a mastermind. And there is, 4 people trying to survive. Your goal as a mastermind, if you're playing the mastermind, is to prevent them from solving or finding the parts they need and escaping. Their goal is to find the parts and escape. Pretty simple. What you can do is, like, spawn in zombies, different sorts of monsters, so on and so forth, all the way up to, like, tyrants, if you unlock them by doing certain tasks. To stop them.
Okay.
And then, it obviously gets harder the better you are at it. The problem they have right now is balance, as the one class is just completely overpowered to the rest of it. Yeah, they have showed more survivors like Jill and a mastermind that has Nemesis coming in. It's just the one right now has an armored zombie, basically, they can throw out there. And it just wrecks the entire thing, and then they get a tyrant on board, and you're screwed as a survivor. I mean, I would only play the game as... Like, I don't play those games as the survivors ever. Like, even Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th, I never enjoyed playing as a survivor all that much. I wanted to be the killer. I wanted to be the, whatever.
Somehow I feel like that fits your personality.
Thank you.
At the same time, he's no longer Lord Drunkass. That's weird.
Well, it is what it is. And yes, I miss Friday the 13th too. What happened to that game was a fucking shame. That got tied up in legal problems and planned expansions got shut down. I'm sorry, what was that?
Isn't that studio making something new now?
I'm not sure. I would have to look it up. Which looks like you're doing now.
Maybe.
Have either of you played the Final Fantasy VII Remake?
No. Wait for them to release the whole thing.
I agree. That is my one issue with the Final Fantasy VII Remake that I was not... The game looks incredible. It looks like it's a ton of fun, but it's an incomplete game at this time. And if I can just wait and play the whole thing all at once eventually, I probably will do that. Plus, I don't have PlayStation right now.
And I know
they only did like half the game?
They're doing it in
like
chapters.
35 hours.
Wow. Okay.
Start.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. I think 2 chapters are available currently. And then... But I've never played the original, which I'm actually going to go back and do soon. Because you can get it pretty cheap on Switch. And I think it's probably pretty cheap on Xbox, too. It's out there. but I never played it.
Yeah, I never played
Because
the original.
milk
I
money,
think
yeah.
I started when I went to when Andy, who's on like my podcast and stuff. I don't know if your viewers know Andy, but
Some of them might listen to your podcast. I plan on inviting him here eventually when he's like back up and running.
He used to live two doors down from me. I used to get on his place and play with him and his brother on games all the time. So they had a PlayStation. His brother Matthew religiously played Final Fantasy VII. So I never played it, but I feel like I saw a good bit just being at their house whenever they were playing.
I had a similar experience with, like, my best friend when I was a kid had, the kid across the street from him was the one who had a PlayStation. We had Nintendo 64s. The kid across the street from him had a PlayStation when we were kids, and he was playing Final Fantasy, so we'd go over there and watch him play that. He'd come over and watch us play Mario or Zelda, that kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to trying it out once, again, like Ian said, it's complete. And so, since we haven't played it, I'll move on. Ian, are you playing Animal Crossing?
No, I don't have a Switch.
Oh, you didn't actually get a Switch yet.
Well, they're still sold out.
So you're not going to eBay or anything? You're not willing to do that?
Fuck no.
Okay.
I'm not paying scalper prices.
Well, you can get a normal Switch for normal prices. If you want the Animal Crossing Switch, you're gonna...
No, those ones are still like up now because of the sellouts.
I just looked today. You can get one for like $250. That's normal price.
That's all.
What are you getting a Switch for? Do you have a game in mind that you're getting a Switch for?
Oh, Animal Crossing.
Just specifically for Animal Crossing?
Yeah, it's always been for Animal Crossing. I mean, I'd then be playing Fire Emblem and
Pokemon.
Probably beach volleyball. No.
Oh, he's not going to play Pokemon.
My issue with Pokemon is the same issue I have with Final Fantasy VII. Put all the Pokemon in the game.
Okay.
All of the Pokemon in the game.
Okay.
I did create the rules. I didn't say catch them all. They did. I can't catch them all. So now I'm a Temtem guy. Temtem.
How's that working out for you?
I haven't played it.
Okay.
I don't play early access games usually. Okay. You have to pay.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to have to pay, but you want all the Pokemon in the game.
I mean, if it's a Pokemon game that has all the Pokemon in the game, I am willing to pay for it.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And I'm not paying for Pokemon Home to maybe have Pokemon adjacent to the game.
Well, they're adding much more with the
all of
DLCs.
the Pokemon in the Pokemon game.
When the DLCs release, you'll be able to access your other Pokemon. You won't have to buy them to access them. What?
All of the Pokemon or just certain Pokemon?
They have not released a full list yet.
So not all the Pokemon.
Up to 200 and some odd more. Yeah, 200 more with the DLC. So you're not getting the national Dex, but you're getting 200 more with the DLC. That'll put you around 620, 630, something like that total in the game out of, what's the national Dex now? Like the actual national Dex, not talking about like, I know there's a national Dex with like 1200 or something like that, where it's like that counts like every different version of certain Pokemon, which only count as one of those 600 and whatever. 890. So you'd still be missing a quarter of the national Dex after the DLC comes.
Yeah, so still a quarter of the game missing.
I understand the argument.
Pokemon's in the Pokemon's game.
But at least
I think you need to get that on a shirt.
Pokemon's in the Pokemon's game.
That's our first piece of merchandise. Check it out on Teespring.
/ Leon.
No, promo code Leon.
Sorry.
All right, since Ian is getting into a Nat Dexter discussion.
Is that a thing?
Oh yes, they're Nat Dexters is what they're called.
It sounds a lot like something else that I don't want to be associated with.
Probably not. Well, we'll move on to the contentious discussion of the evening, which we're going to discuss aim assist and skill-based matchmaking. These are very contentious discussions among gamers. Recently, a lot of people were very upset about aim assist in Fortnite. Now, I don't play Fortnite. Do either of you play Fortnite at all?
No, I've played like 5 games and was like, I will never learn to build. I am not a Minecraft player.
There's a reason we're friends. I'm not a Fortnite player. I tried it for like a couple days. And I just, when it first was a thing, like back
Yeah.
a long time ago, and I was like, this is dumb. That was my opinion at the time. I'm not saying the game's dumb. I'm not saying you're dumb for liking it. I felt like it was dumb. I didn't enjoy it. It was cartoony. You had to build a bunch of random shit. I have no interest in that. Just let me have fun. Building seemed like not fun to me. It might be fun to you. But it didn't even make it past the downloading, says Travelers. So recently, evidently, there's been some discussion about aim assist on PC. Now, this isn't a discussion about removing it on console versus PC. This is a discussion about removing it PC versus PC. So PC players using a keyboard versus PC players using a controller. And for me, I say I understand why aim assist exists. And I'm not, like, I can't say how strong it is in Fortnite. But aim assist in other games makes sense with a controller. I've used both keyboard and mouse and controllers on PC, and I'm okay with either. So long as aim assist isn't like dragging my reticle onto everything it sees like an aimbot, I think it's okay. But not everybody's of that opinion, so I'll leave it open for discussion. Ian, you're the PC gamer master race for several years compared to myself and Brian. So I'll pitch it to you first. What's your opinion on this?
I looked because I had to know because I can't believe people are complaining about aim assist. I'm just like, who gives a shit? And some of the Fortnite ones like were kind of egregious. Like I saw a video of this dude he wasn't aiming at all. It was just pointed straight, and it was literally tracking someone jumping, like perfectly. And I was like, that's a little much.
Okay.
Like to completely follow them, and the dude's not even like it's just doing it automatically. He's not even moving it up.
So, are we sure of the
veracity of it?
Yes.
No.
Are we sure that he's not using an aimbot to make an argument against aim assist?
We're not. And
okay. I just want to ask that to be sure.
That's where we're placing this conversation at. And I just, even with that, I think that's a little egregious, but I think there's obviously, to keep it competitive, you almost have to have some aim assist. You can't have none. I think it should at least be a tweakable setting, because I know in some games I've played, I think it's too strong, and I've turned it down. I believe it was in one of the Halos I had to. I was like, I literally am, it's moving where I don't want it to go, because of how strong the aim assist is.
Bungie still has an aim assist problem today with Destiny and controllers. It's still a thing.
I'm sure. The game has a lot of problems I'm not going to jump into now.
No, but I'm just, it does.
Yeah. But I don't think it's a big issue. I think it's really only Fortnite's the only game I can think of top of my head. Maybe some Apex too, where there's pros using controllers on PC even.
Okay.
Like I think it's just like that. It's a very clear like how people play it, which almost is the better method. A lot of it's probably ingrained muscle memory. I don't know if I could go back to a shooter on controller. Like part of the problem is I just don't know if I have enough buttons. That would get me, and I just it wouldn't feel right. But I there's clearly you need aim assist if we're going to be doing all this, especially if I know it was PC versus PC, but if we're including crossplay and stuff, you're going to have it for just to keep it a relatively competitive environment, or you're going to have a game where probably every other game, some dude's going to come in and just dominate because he's on a mouse. But as long as you keep it not too egregious where it doesn't feel like aimbotting, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Now, I would wonder though if people have found ways to like make the game think they're using a controller, but they're using a mouse, and then still have aim assist.
Oh god, aim assist with a mouse.
I don't know if that would just fuck you up too much because I don't know of it, but I wonder.
It might really mess with you with a mouse. Like I could see that really, really messing with you.
Yeah.
Warzone has 4 different options, supposedly, Chris says. I'm not sure about that.
Oh, you haven't checked your aim assist settings?
No, I'm not sure that there's 4 of them. When I initially set up, I'm good with where it's at, so I haven't gone back to it.
Do you mess with like the sensitivity and stuff?
Yes.
It's been a while since I've been on console, and I can't remember if I ever like really bothered.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I usually don't.
It's different on different games, and that's the thing, is like I like to be able to snap around pretty quick, but I don't like to be able to snap around as fast as if I'm using a mouse. So
my thing is, like, I know like what I want my mouse, like at what speed I want it, because I have to adjust it kind of for every game. But I have a very base test for, okay, this is where I want it. I just don't think there's a version of that I could do with a controller. Because for me, I take my mouse from one end, like the edge of my pad, to the other, and that should be a 360 spin.
Okay, so yeah, that kind of test, no.
Yeah, that's my test. That's how I know. I don't think there's a way I could do something like that with a controller, so I don't know how much I could mess with it, other than a very basic eye check of like, seems fine.
Yeah, I mean, the basic idea is in most games I run mid to high, like medium-high sensitivity settings. Like they're usually 0 to 10.
Did you ever change a lot, like, just as you've gamed? I felt like early on, I would always set it, like, I think for maybe Halo 2, because that might have been my first one where I really was like, I'm going to become a competitive player. Though I don't think esports, I didn't know about the concept of esports at that point. But I think I started off like on insane or whatever the highest possible setting for it was, because it made the most sense to me. Like, I gotta react quickly, so I need to go fast. You know, like Sonic, like that's why he's so good hero. He goes fast. But then I realized I can't go that fast, but then I'm not able to adjust it, you know, so then I started lowering it and lowering it. Is that kind of how you were with it, or?
Well, so I was kind of the opposite end. Where, like, the first time I actually, like... I played a lot of games with friends, but I never thought of them as competitive. Like, things like Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3. I never looked at things that competitively. And... with Destiny, I started to look at it. Like, very closely as to, like, what I want to do. And I started off lower in Destiny. But also coming into Destiny, I really hadn't played shooters much in a while. I was playing a lot more like Dark Souls, Elder Scrolls, games like that. And it had been a while since I really did much with a shooter. And I started off lower. And I started off maybe on like 3 is my sensitivity. And by the time I finished with Destiny, I was up to like 8 or 9.
Okay, is that out of 10, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And where I could react to things faster, I had known the game well enough, and I was hitting everything I needed to hit going faster. But I mean, that's also over the course of 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, whatever the hell it was. Playing mostly only Destiny, I was able to get up that high, and now I can pick up a shooter and go straight toward the top end of the ratings without a problem. But Destiny's different, though. Like I said, the aim assist is a fucking joke in Destiny sometimes. It's annoying. There's times you're in a gunfight in Destiny, and you're in a lane, and somebody runs across the lane near the person that you're in a gunfight with. And your reticle gets pulled to the opposite side of the lane because that person's running across at the opposite end, and you're like, well, what the fuck? And then you lose the gunfight because you got pulled off on aim assist. That drives me crazy with Destiny.
Oh, I would not be able to stand it.
No, exactly. And it's part of the reason I stopped playing Destiny, like, competitively. Is the aim assist was just too fucking annoying with shit like that. Where there was people that knew it would do it, too, and they would exploit it to pull you off of a gunfight. You know what I mean? They would dash behind their teammate.
Pro-level strats, I gotcha.
Literally, I'm not kidding. Like, I've watched, like, top-end, like, competitive and trials players in Destiny doing that kind of idea. Like, I'm pinned, take a lane, and, yeah, they pull them. And it's like, motherfucker, I would just go crazy. But...
Put a cap in the chat.
Brian, how do you feel? about aim assist?
I mean, I guess I'm more in line with Ian. I haven't played anything on PC, so I don't know how good. I guess how good it can be trying to aim and shoot on games. So I'm used to a controller and having a little bit of aim assist. I get, I understand it, and especially like what I think what Ian said too, with crossplay hopefully becoming the norm. If PC players get that precise, I think console players need a little bit of that handicap to just help compete with that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, with crossplay for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, but I agree with you guys. I don't think it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be feeling your crosshairs move to certain enemies when you're not technically aiming at those enemy, like the right enemy, like what you're describing with Destiny about pulling in the lane you're trying to shoot at. That would drive me up a wall. Like that to me feels like too much. But I don't know. I don't know how to make it good. I guess. I don't know what the happy medium is.
I mean, there's that certain amount of aim assist that won't pull you off of another target. Yeah, I mean, that thing that says, like, okay, they're engaged here.
Right.
Maybe, like, I don't know. If you pull out of ADS and back in, it'll allow that to, like, lose the aim assist on the target you had before.
Or even just, like, a smarter, like, I don't want to say AI, but a system where it recognizes contextually you're shooting a guy, maybe stay on the guy you're shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be... I'm looking at the chat now. Chris listed 4 different options for Warzone. Assist off, standard, precision, and focusing. So that could be a fun experiment to see what each of those feel like when you're trying to shoot.
Oh, God. I can see, like, testing that out and getting to the final 2 teams and being pulled off of the person I'm shooting at by their down teammate.
Well, it's like I'm wondering what the difference
crawling on the
between
ground next to
precision
them, and you're like, no,
and
not that
focusing
person.
is.
Yeah,
I'm wondering, like, what we're talking about, like, where you're aiming, continually to be aiming that direction. Don't pull the cursor to another enemy. So I'm wondering which one would just keep you aiming where you're aiming.
But you haven't noticed anything playing Call of Duty where it feels like it's moving you somewhere?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm not.
I'm assuming you're playing on standard, since we're having.
Yeah,
this
I haven't messed with
conversation
any
about
settings
it.
as far as
I didn't turn it off and I didn't turn it up.
Okay.
And I'm the person that hasn't messed with my sensitivity or anything like that too. So whatever the default is, that's what I'm playing with.
Okay.
I'm just happy no one said they invert their controls yet.
I do.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
That's that
friend does-
GoldenEye mentality, man. GoldenEye had that default inverted, and I've been playing inverted ever since. I can't not do it now.
No, my one friend's like that, and when we would play Halo 2, like land up, and he'd get kicked off for whatever reason. We have someone else switch, they'd forget to turn off invert.
Oh, I love it.
The worst
I love it because anybody that comes over and tries to play my games, it's like, here you go, and have fun. And then they complain as soon as they start aiming. What the fuck is this? Why do you do this? It's backwards.
That would
It
drive
makes perfect
me crazy.
sense to me. It's flight controls. Like I'm cool with that.
You play flight sims with inverse?
Inverse.
The flight sims are default. That's what they are.
That would drive me crazy. I used to do account recoveries for Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'd go into somebody's account to do whatever for them, you know, whether it was get them flawless in trials or complete a raid for them, whatever the hell it was. Sometimes, man, I'd go in for that first game of competitive or trials, and you go in and you're not even aware of it yet, that their controls are fucking inverted. Because it was something like I didn't learn to check for consistently ever. Like it never was something that just I reminded myself every time to do. Because it happens so rare. Like, the people that actually use inverted is so rare. But you would hit it every now and then.
I'm like a unicorn.
And you'd go into that first match, and you'd be like, I'm going to jump up there. And then you'd look straight at the ground, and you're like, what the fuck? Or you'd try aiming, and you'd just get killed immediately. And you're like, well, I guess they have inverted controls. And it was just awful.
And then you had to start the flawless run.
Yeah, you had to restart. You basically just back out of the match like, well, we're fucked. No, I mean, literally, like, Flawless wasn't like that. You could just go back into it. My horn can pierce the sky.
That is what I mouthed.
So, yeah, like, aim assist is something in games that's necessary, and it's going to be even more necessary as we get into crossplay.
I mean,
Well,
you start to wonder, too, if Fortnite's the biggest, like, if that's the one everybody's complaining about, that's a game that I feel like is primarily for kids. And maybe I don't know if it was meant that way, but that's what it is now. Like you have your pros,
the audience
but
is so
you're
big.
yeah. And
The audience is
I
really
feel
big.
like,
I mean, Animal Crossing is made for kids too. Let's be fair about this. And the audience
Right,
for that
I
is
don't know, I
enormous.
guess-
And it's not
Well, I
just
think-
kids that play it. Same with Pokemon. Made for kids,
It just-
played a lot by adults.
It just comes across as for kids more because the audience was so large. They would market it everywhere, especially at kids.
Yeah,
Because
if
kids
they market
have
it
a lot of
more to
disposable income,
adults.
relatively.
Well, yeah. And if they market it more to adults, it limits them a little bit. Whereas if it's marketed towards kids, not as much. I'm not sure if we lost Brian.
I just like that it's frozen like that.
He's
Like a lot.
he's frozen right now in Skype. So we're going to continue our discussion and hope that he rolls back in here at some. There he is. He's back.
There we
He
go.
got real triggered by Fortnite.
Apparently.
He was so triggered by Fortnite, he overheated his computer. It's okay.
Was it just me? Everybody froze for me.
No, it was just
No.
you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Nice.
So yeah, Fortnite. Yeah, it's got a
He
lot
was
of.
young.
Well,
Unicorny.
like sort of I'm thinking like, kids maybe need a little bit more of a handicap than adults is what I was sort of thinking for the aim assist part.
Brian.exe has stopped working. Yes, kids do definitely need more of a handicap than adults in some respect, but there's that point at which the kids become better than adults, though, too.
Well,
that,
true,
That
yeah,
10-year-old
I guess.
kid needs more of a handicap, but that 17-year-old is kicking the shit out of us.
Well, it's also like because that was the StarCraft thing. Like, I think people would retire from pro StarCraft by like 20 or something because they no longer have the reaction speed to play that quickly.
Yeah, and it's not wrong. Like, it's something that Twitch reaction to play as a pro is needed. I mean, how old was the kid that won the $1 million or $2 million or whatever it was for the
13.
13?
Jesus.
I mean, and
Yeah.
that was the Fortnite World Championship. I mean, and this
Mm-hmm.
kid wins all that money. He's 13 because they have reaction speeds that just put ours out of the water. I
They
can't
have
figure
time.
out why.
I mean, do you think they can think that quickly and
Beer.
strategize, or just pure instinct when they're playing?
I think it depends on the child, but I don't like that I just said that. Just reminded me of something else. But damn it, Sargon. But it's very. I think dependent. It's like that quick reaction time, and then probably certain kids are better at the game sense than others. So he's got to win that tournament. It's not just he's the most quick action person ever. He's got to have some game sense and stuff
Yeah.
too to win that.
Yeah.
You
I'm
have
sure
to
a
have game
lot of
sense
kids-
and you have to execute when the moment comes. Like, you got to hit your shots when the moment happens, but you have to have the strategy as well. It's not just one thing.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think about like how I play, and like most of the time it's like if I feel like I got the shot, I'm thinking like, oh wait, just get a little bit better, and then I the hesitation is what kills you.
I feel
You
like
got to just commit. A lot of these. You
I
got
feel
to
like
just
the last time that Brian and I played together, we spent half the time telling Leslie to not laugh over it so we could hear other people.
Yeah.
Like, Leslie just was giggling the whole time we're trying to play Warzone, and Brian and I are like, "Could you be quiet? We're trying to hear people. I don't know where I'm being shot from." And she's
And then
just
she's
laughing.
laughing because we're getting shot.
Yeah. It's like, well, I had no idea where that guy came from because I'm dead now. Yeah, we got goomed, for sure. But it to me is, crossplay, like Cheney said, still not in Overwatch. That is kind of a shame. You would think they would go that far, but
maybe Overwatch too.
Maybe, but I would say Overwatch, I would doubt it much more. Just because Blizzard does not dip their toes a whole lot into console gaming.
No, it's Activision Blizzard.
Oh,
And
yeah, it is
Activision-
Actiblizzard, okay.
And Activision Blizzard has a very popular shooter with crossplay enabled. Let's not lie to ourselves and pretend this is the Blizzard of old. They are clearly Activision Blizzard now.
Okay.
It's merely separate for branding.
Yeah, alright, that's fair. That's fair.
If they wanted it, they could do it. Overwatch came out on consoles.
I understand
D3
that.
came out on consoles.
I still think of Blizzard as Overwatch and Activision as COD.
No, that's what they want. That's what people do. But I think the line's very much blurred now, like behind the scenes and how it is compared to how they present it. And I think they should definitely add crossplay when they do Overwatch 2. I don't know it's all their networking stuff, but we know it's possible.
Yeah.
And you should it only helps the game, I think, because you add that much more players. Like especially when you're talking about something like Overwatch that a lot of people play competitively.
Yep.
Some of the wait times, if you're like a grandmaster, I believe is their highest ranking at that game, you could be waiting like 3-5 minutes to get matched up.
It was bad. Like when I stopped playing Overwatch, I was playing in like high platinum, and it was bad then too. Like even at high platinum, it was not good.
You mean the wait times or the players?
The wait times.
Yeah.
The players. Don't get me wrong. The players were not the best.
Well, because I remember, I think the majority of Overwatch players are gold. That's from their like bell curve they have. Like,
Gold and
vast
silver are the
majority
biggest.
gold. Yeah.
Gold and silver make up the biggest, and then if you can, like, I would touch into whatever that above platinum is, like every now and then.
Diamond,
then,
I think.
Yeah, diamond. Like I would touch into that every now and then I'd lose like 4 in a row because I didn't belong at diamond. And,
Well, I think that's also when you start getting matched up with not just diamond players, but like masters and GMs.
Yeah, you would start seeing the blue ranks show up at that point. And that pulls us into the skill-based matchmaking discussion, actually, is a good way to segue into that. Say Terraria earlier.
Yeah, I was wondering what Ferrari game there was.
Yeah, that's why I didn't address it. I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck that is, so I'm not even gonna not go in there. I don't.
I was like, this is going to be a blood feud with like Forza, whatever the Sony one is, and now the
Gran
Ferrari
Turismo.
game. Yeah, and the Ferrari game. God damn.
So everybody gets all up in arms about skill-based matchmaking these days, one way or the other. It seems like no matter what your opinion is, it seems like people always are offended by that opinion. Personally, I believe skill-based matchmaking is a good thing in most cases, where it offers new players a safe place to go and play, and learn where they belong, and learn the game, without getting stomped all over by experienced players. It offers experienced players a good, fun, equal time to play. But it comes down to the discussion of whether or not there needs to be a place without skill-based matchmaking available in games when people just want to relax and play without having to sweat it out. If they're a top-end player, or if somebody likes playing against higher-end players, if they're a low-end player. I don't know why they would, but some people like that. They want to learn from playing against people that are so much better.
Crazy motherfuckers.
Hey, some people learn better that way. I don't, but some people do.
It depends on the game. Like, respawn times, and like, it would not be good in like a Counter-Strike where you're dead and then you gotta wait for the round to end. Like, you're not gonna learn much play-wise. Like, I guess you'll be able to watch some good people on the cam afterwards, but
you can do that on
you're
YouTube, though. You don't have to play the game and die to learn.
I was gonna say you can go watch some streams and catch up on exactly how to play.
And then when they're gonna start getting mad at you for dying all the time, and
exactly.
not knowing that's econ.
And that's the other end of skill-based matchmaking for top-end players, is if there isn't skill-based matchmaking in a mode, you're potentially getting teamed up with people that are going to drag you down. Like, like you're saying, they don't know the call-outs, they don't know what to do, they don't know what the objective actually means, they don't know where things are. If you say they're on A, they're looking around, where the fuck is A? In things like that, a ranked, quick play, casual, things like that. I prefer kind of what Destiny did at one time. They don't do it anymore.
Destiny or Destiny 2?
Destiny.
Okay. I just wanted to know for my personal self.
Well, they might actually be doing it now. I haven't looked into how Trials works now. They just brought Trials back like a month ago.
I saw people complaining.
Well, there's other problems with it, like the loot and all that, but the cheating
with levels or something.
But
like the light levels were messed up because of the artifacts or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a mess too. That's a whole different mess that wasn't there in Destiny 1. But the way that Destiny 1 sorted out their competitive skill-based matchmaking was very simple in their competitive mode. You had normal quick play modes, which were, don't get me started on Destiny's fucking peer-to-peer server bullshit. You have enough money. What?
No shooter should have peer-to-peer matchmaking.
Ever. You
have, honestly, no game should.
At that time, Activision was tied to Bungie, there was no reason whatsoever not to have dedicated servers, yet they always have had peer-to-peer. That aside, they had generally open matchmaking in their normal playlists, where you could match up with whoever. And then in the skill base, the way it worked wasn't based on your skill, it was based on your flawless card. So to go flawless, you needed 9 wins without losing. If you had the proper card, you needed 7. So if you spent on the perks on the card, if you had enough coins to get those cards, you needed 7. But the way it worked is, if you were on your first game, you only played other people on their first game. Second game, all the way on up to where if you were playing for a flawless card, you were playing somebody else that was also playing their match for a flawless card. And that's how their skill-based matchmaking worked. It made the reward truly elite, truly, like, special. And that's where they went wrong with Destiny 2 when it started, was they didn't have that. So when you would go flawless in Destiny 2 at the start, you could be playing somebody on their first match that's never won a game of Trials when you're playing for your flawless match. And there was no matchmaking. There was, like, nothing but connection-based.
Yeah, everyone in the same
tournament,
yeah.
Right. Which was a problem because of the peer-to-peer servers. People wanted better connections for matches, so there wasn't lag winning matches for people. And because they had peer-to-peer, they had to go with connection-based servers.
Yeah.
So if they got rid of the peer-to-peer and they went to a dedicated server system, they could have kept that same card-based matchmaking system that I feel like is so perfect for that system that they had. Mm-hmm. Other games with their competitive modes really don't have that advantage. But you come to games like Warzone or Modern Warfare, and what I've noticed is the games are much slower with skill-based matchmaking when I'm playing at my own level. If I play with somebody above my level, it seems like I try to play faster to keep up and I screw up more. And if I play with somebody below my level, it seems like everybody else is playing faster than they should, and I get easy kill streaks. And it's like that happy medium is where things need to be, and I think skill-based matchmaking provides that. I've rambled on enough. You guys give me your thoughts.
Well, I think the big thing is to have two. You have a ranked mode, and then you have the casual mode, and then that's it. That's fine then. You have a ranked one with the skill-based matchmaking, and then you do a casual one where it's just throw everyone in the same shoot, see what comes out. A lot of games don't do that anymore. They're casual. They still have the hidden MMR and match you up like that.
Yes.
Like I know that's how Overwatch works. Technically, that's how COD works because they don't show rank.
Does Overwatch work the same way it used to?
I don't know if they've changed. I haven't kept up with it.
Because I know the way Overwatch used to work was just based on your rank in the game, not based on your skill.
It had a hidden ranking system.
But I always remember, like, if you were, like a 3-star rank 42, everybody in your match would be like a 3-star. I mean, they had reset their rank 3 times, and it seemed like that was the way that they match made.
I think that just was how it ended up, because I'm very sure they almost always had like the hidden MMR, like the ranking you, and it just it just so happened it showed up like that for you because everyone that your skill level played that much too,
That's fair.
So I'm pretty sure that's how they did it, because you could look when they started adding the ranked in, what everyone's rank was in each season, and you'd kind of see the same rank when you'd be playing casual even,
Right. Okay.
And that's one way to do it. I still prefer, I guess, not prefer, but I think I don't really have a big issue with skill-based matchmaking. Obviously for ranked you have to have it, because that's the whole fucking point.
Well,
but,
yeah, for ranked.
For casual, I don't mind throwing everyone in the same shoot, but I get the arguments for why you don't just throw people to the wolves, which is probably a clan name.
I would say something I would like to see in terms of what you're saying is perhaps a casual, a ranked, and a beginner. in most games, so that people that are new to the game
do that without actually having it be a mode. Like
Right.
people playing first 10 games or playing people also on their first 10 or something like that.
Right, and that's what I mean. Like something, even if it's hidden, that activates if you're new to the game to keep you from going up against people that have played 10,000 matches.
But the problem is if it's something free like Warzone and people know about it, they're just going to make Smurfs.
Well, that's the issue with free-to-play games and games like Overwatch.
Or even just, like, even cheap games. Like, people did that with Counter-Strike when the keys would go for under $5. They just buy a bunch of keys so they could Smurf.
Yep. Well, and I mean, the thing with Xbox is as long as I made an account on my Xbox,
you can play it,
I can play Overwatch on as many accounts as I make on my Xbox.
Yeah.
And so you could Smurf and Smurf and Smurf and Smurf.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, why am I doing this? This is fucking dumb.
No, I remember my brother was playing it for the first time, and I joined him mid-game, and I have never felt so much like the Doom guy than I did in that moment, even playing Doom.
Were you playing Doomfist, at least?
No, this was pre-Doomfist.
Oh, pre-Doomfist, okay.
I was, of course, being that super fucking pub stomper playing Widowmaker.
Oh, God. You were able to feel like a Doom guy playing as Widowmaker.
Yeah, it was just lighting them up.
I mean, people hated me when I played Overwatch. I can remember, like, I was a Hanzo main, and people fucking hated that. I would go into comp, and people...
You Hanzo.
Right, exactly. People fucking hated me joining their team. And I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. Like, I would see so much shit, and then I would drop twice as many kills as second place. And I'd be like, okay, do you want to say something again about me playing Hanzo? Okay, I don't think you do.
My favorite is there's a video game donkey. He's a YouTuber. He did a lot of Overwatch videos because he was real into it. And there's one with him doing Hanzo, and he got I think he got a team wipe. Cleared so they could capture the point, and then 5 seconds after they do it, it's like you see in the kill feed, he got all the kills, he shares you onto the stream, and then you just hear this guy go, "Thanks for nothing, Hanzo." Not even acknowledging that he did something.
Cheney says he mains Reinhardt and Brigitte, so he's
get,
never felt like a god.
You get Rein, and you get that Ana boost, and you get lucky, you could feel like a god smashing that hammer with that boost from Ana.
Oh yeah,
I can smash some motherfuckers with that hammer.
Oh yeah,
you're
definitely.
Fucking off like that. I've seen points cleared. I've seen men turned into crying boys.
When I played Hanzo and D.Va pre old nerf. Before they nerfed D.Va at one point, around the time that I stopped playing, probably a year and a half ago. But I played D.Va a lot, and D.Va, it was tough to feel like godly until you use the ult.
Oh yeah, well, because her thing.
Yeah, if you got a point clearing ult, oh man, that felt fucking great.
And trying to do the fake outs with the self destruct, trying to loop it up and shit, all that.
Oh yeah, shoot it straight up in the air so it lands right back where you're at. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Try and
Brian's
shoot it over the vine.
You don't play Overwatch, Brian, do you?
No, this is all gibberish to me.
Honestly, you should try it out. If you've never played it, it's probably a lot of fun to try and get into again. I've considered playing it again. Yeah, wait for Overwatch 2. Because it's still probably $60 to buy it now.
I know on PC, I think it launched at 40. I don't know about console.
It was always 60 on console.
Nerds.
Yeah. I have the Origins edition, I believe is the one that I bought.
Is that the one that had the 2 extra skins or whatever?
No, I think that was just the generation it launched at. When I bought mine, the first new hero that launched was Orisa. After I bought it, Orisa was the first new hero.
Okay.
But we'll play off of this into Valorant, which is similar a little bit to Overwatch in that you have abilities and kind of strange things that you can do in the game, but it's also very similar to Counter-Strike. It has the look and feel of Counter-Strike mixed with Paladins or Overwatch Lite. It's not as power reliant as Overwatch is, but Why is Valorant a big deal? Well, one, I can tell you Valorant's getting like 1 million daily viewers or concurrent viewers actively on Twitch at any time because they're giving away beta keys. The only way to currently be playing the game, Ian got one, is to get one of these beta keys. You have to make a Riot account, and you have to play. So,
Which you already have.
Right.
Because you're either a big LoL guy, you're either a big TFT guy, or you're a big Runeterra guy. Everyone.
Yes, everyone. Except for probably a lot of folks.
I mean, that's because they have consoles, but that's not my problem.
But, so for those who don't know, Valorant is a first-person shooter. It's like 5-on-5 right now. And I don't know if that's going to change, but it's in beta. But it's currently a 5-on-5 team shooter. And you have some interesting abilities and whatnot that you can use. It's from the team that makes League of Legends, Team Fortress 2, Runeterra, Riot Games, not gaming, Riot Games.
Rito!
And it is very popular at the moment. It is very fun looking. Hopefully some point I can get a key and try it out, but if not, it's coming out, supposed to release this summer, and so far it does not seem to be delayed by the COVID-19 issue.
Hopefully.
Does Valve have a hand in this?
No.
No.
Well, you said Team Fortress 2, I think that's why.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I misspoke. Sorry. But it looks like Counter-Strike. Let me be clear. It's not Counter-Strike, but it looks like Counter-Strike in a lot of ways. That could just be the current maps that are available and the current weapons that are available and that it's in beta. But it's not. But what they're claiming is why it is such a popular force among first-person shooter fans, especially on PC. 128 tick servers. Ian was gushing about this before the show. That's insane. And evidently, Ian said he tried it out, and it's actually working and seeming like that's a real thing, not just a claim.
So for the uninitiated, what the hell does that mean?
It's like the reaction time of the server, like it can put out. So I think a lot of I think the basic Counter-Strike servers are 60 tick, so it's kind of similar to that MS response time. You see that little number. So it's basically you want it the higher the better. That's the faster response time you're getting. So there's less lag essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now there's a Counter-Strike. People actually pay. There's a separate private server community called Face It, and you actually pay, and they have their own separate from Valve's Counter-Strike, but in the game, their own ranked community, because people will pay a monthly fee to play on 120 tick servers.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're not professional players doing this.
So the way I was going to explain it, Brian, is so you've played Destiny PvP. I know this is the way I can explain it best. And you've run past a corner, and you felt like you were back in cover, but you got killed.
Right.
That's because the tick on the servers is extremely shitty. Because one, it's peer-to-peer, and two, it's just not good ticks. So you're not experiencing what's actually happening in a slower tick.
Okay.
But they're claiming that, and evidently it is true, which is big. If you're going to make that claim, and it comes through with a big claim like that, that's awesome. They're saying 30 frames per second, even on minimum spec computers, and 60 up to 144 on modern gaming computers. They're saying in data centers, 35 millisecond ping. That is insanity for a consistent ping in a game that could be this big.
I mean, they are trying to make they really done a very good job of building the competitive community around LoL. Toxic as it is, it's very huge, very important community. So I think they know how to do it, and they also know that CS:GO is also very large, and to take a stab at it, they got to commit resources.
Yes. And what I was going to say, the LoL community is toxic, yes. But it's not because of the game that they're toxic. It's just because people get too obsessed and...
Well, it's because of the game in the sense that the game's hyper-competitive and they're really long matches, so if it starts going badly, you're committing all of this time to something that ultimately feels pointless 15 minutes in, and you have another half hour. of it.
Okay, so that's fair, but it's just, to me, it's
It's
something
nothing
that, like,
they did personally to do it. It's just,
right.
I'm sure Dota's the same way. I'm sure Heroes of the Storm was the same way.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things. People get competitive, and when they get competitive, some people don't handle it properly. And
I mean, COD's like that sometimes, and the games can last 5 minutes.
yes, and that's what I mean. That's what I was getting at. It's not
Yeah.
the game; it's the people that make things toxic, not the game itself.
I'm more
I'm more to hell. Oh wow. That's why you mute COD. I mute COD too. I don't, unless
I'm
we're
right there
playing
with you.
together. I don't
I-
listen to what random people have to say in COD. I'm not
No,
opening
I need
myself
those-
up to 12-year-olds.
I need those call-outs, and I need dudes telling me how much cock I'm sucking. Because it's hard to keep track.
Yeah, I'll pass. I'd rather not have call-outs than have to, like, I'm sorry, the one time I just had a kid screaming into the microphone. I'm not dealing with this shit.
Well, it's
Or
also
the people
real
that just
quick-
leave music on in the background or leave their microphone on and just breathe into it but not talk into it. Just mute your fucking microphone if you're not going to fucking use it.
Or the random people that think it's funny to, like, shout racist obscenities into the microphone just for the hell
Yeah.
of it.
People are stupid.
I mean,
I like when the people are just playing the YouTube videos about like Scientology or something, or like flat Earths, because you get a lot of that in Counter-Strike, and like their name will be a link to the YouTube video.
oh
And
god.
I've run across that a couple times in COD now. 37.
37. 37. My girlfriend sucked
Wait.
37 dicks.
I was reacting to the chat, Brian.
Okay, all right, that's what I happened to read when you said a number, and I was like, wait, is that one?
I mean, technically, what the chat said is how many dicks did I sick today? Honey, come on. But
I'm not gonna say it.
what they're claiming and what they're trying to do with Valorant is fantastic. This game looks fun. Maybe I'll get a key. And maybe I won't.
So
It's
you're watching
random.
right now.
No, not right now. I keep my own channel
That's your
open
problem.
just to. Well, I know, like, you got to leave it on overnight watching these channels that are playing to try and hope for a key. Maybe I'll get one, maybe I won't. Who knows? Probably not. It seems like it's really difficult to manage to get a key.
Yeah, because their big thing with the keys is they're trying to keep it so that like there won't be a queue, like a wait queue.
Right.
So as long as it stays popular and people keep playing it, they're going to give out less keys.
Yes. And eventually they'll release the game fully. But again, I said, like, that's something that hasn't been yet announced as being affected by the whole coronavirus COVID-19 crisis. But we can play off that and get into some things that have been affected by that officially. There's not a whole lot to discuss here, but it's something just to take note about the massive impact on the gaming community this is going to have. Because there's a bunch more game delays, I'm sure, that are going to be announced at some point. So currently, events that have been canceled or modified. Call of Duty League is online only, no longer in person. MomoCon 2020, canceled. QuakeCon 2020, canceled. USC Games Expo has moved to online only. BAFTA this year was held online. That's the British Game Awards thing. Develop Brighton Conference was pushed back to November. The Taipei Game Show was canceled. EGX postponed. GDC delayed to August. New Zealand Games Festival postponed to 2021. Gamescom still scheduled but prepared for cancellation. They have, I believe they're in August already, and they have all kinds of press releases out about what to do if they have to cancel with your tickets and such. They've already told people what to do with them.
They're waiting for the venue to cancel on them so they get that insurance money.
That's actually exactly kind of what they said, was that the venue had not yet required cancellation. They didn't say,
Yeah, it's
we're
happening
waiting
with
for
a
the
lot of
insurance, but yeah.
Yeah.
The Games Beat Summit has gone digital only. Overwatch League was canceled through April. Afterwards, online only planned for this year.
I forgot that they played this, like, they're supposed to actually travel to, like, different cities and stuff.
Yep.
That's so dumb.
The Worldwide Developer Conference changed to a virtual event. TwitchCon this year was supposed to be in Amsterdam. That was canceled. PAX
Oh,
East.
what? Amsterdam?
Yes. Yeah, like, of all things, like, TwitchCon was going to be in Amsterdam, and I was like, damn, I can't afford to go to Amsterdam,
Those
but
fucking nerds.
I would love to go to Amsterdam for TwitchCon if I
I
could
would
afford
like to
it.
go people watching for TwitchCon in
Oh
Amsterdam.
my god, that's half the fun. But
I
smoking
wouldn't
a bunch
buy
of
a
weed
pass.
and then go watch, like, people watching in Amsterdam during
Oh, see, I'd be
TwitchCon?
hanging out in the red light district seeing those dudes trying to buy something.
Oh god. Oh god. Um, PAX East went ahead as planned, but it seemed like, from what I could tell, at least half or more of the exhibitors pulled out of PAX East and didn't want to go.
Wasn't that right before like all the shutdown started too? Like
It,
that
it
was like
while everything was happening, kind of.
yeah.
Like, while all the
That
stuff was started. Right, E3 canceled.
And they're somehow going to have another E3. I really thought this was going to be the end of E3.
Yeah,
So-
I kind of thought the same thing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the next E3.
Yeah, we'll wait for them to leak everyone's information this summer.
They've got big plans for Google Stadia to show off their newest stuff next year.
Yeah,
Well, the only-
as long as they don't cancel it.
As long as they don't
The only-
cancel it, Stadia's the big draw right now.
Like Microsoft is the only real big name that's still saying, yeah, we're going to be at E3, right? Everybody else does Nintendo does their own online thing. Sony bailed out 2 years ago.
Yeah, Nintendo does Direct, Sony does their own thing. Microsoft is gonna start doing their own thing.
Well, they have
After
their
this
own
year, yeah,
space.
since there's no E3, they're going to do their own
Need
thing.
to
So
pass.
why would they go back next year?
When they get more engagement off of doing their own thing than they did at E3. No,
That
that's
was
why it was a
something
joke,
that-
Malcolm.
oh.
Stadia, technically still alive, but it's, I mean,
You can play it now on other devices without paying, finally.
yeah, it's knocking on heaven's door. Let's
And
face it.
they just announced that they are working on an original game. Why
Oh.
this wouldn't have launched an original game, or they would have been working on one for a couple years now already. Not to say, but they're working on one now.
How's that partnership with Stadia looking now, Bungie? Sorry, I just have to put that
I
in there
want
for
to know if
Bungie
they
to
made
think
any
about.
money off that.
Other things that have happened. Last of Us Part 2 was delayed indefinitely. They didn't even offer a replacement date, just indefinitely.
Was that supposed to come out on PS4?
That was supposed to be, like, next month, in May.
Okay.
That was supposed to be really soon.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Wonder if that just becomes a PS5 launch game.
It might. Like I said, they didn't announce a new date for it, so we don't know yet what's going to happen with that. Sniper Elite's next game delayed the start of their crowdfunding campaign. So Sniper Elite's kind of a fun game. It's a fun little game to play.
Campaign.
They're small games, but they're fun. Sniper Elite's fun. Pokemon Go adjusted their entire gameplay format so you could play at home and indoors. Because obviously you shouldn't be out walking around just to play fucking Pokemon Go right now, and if you are, slap yourself and get the fuck back inside. No offense. I like some Pokemon, but it's not essential to go out there and risk spreading a disease that could potentially kill a bunch of people.
It's
To play
essential
Pokemon.
that Team Yellow is this gym.
Yes. Sure.
I don't even know if this is that game.
But those legendary raids, yeah, I know.
Like no one's out there now, man. You know.
Steam broke 20 million concurrent users as a new record for themselves. Switch shortages, which we mentioned earlier in reference to Animal Crossing. You can't go to get a brand new Switch anywhere right now, and especially if you want the Animal Crossing Switch. Be prepared to pay like $700-800 for that Animal Crossing Switch right now if you want to try and get a hold of one, which is insane.
I don't remember. Like they made a special edition 3DS for Fire Emblem. Which one was that? Bloodlines, I guess, or Fates. Fates.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think that got that high.
Yeah. Well, honestly,
But, like, I know that. Like the game, I think you could sell for double the price. I think it was $80 for the special edition of the game, and I think that was going for like $170 on eBay.
oh my god. Like, don't get me wrong when I say this. This crisis has inflated the popularity of Animal Crossing. It gives people something to fucking do. I don't understand Animal Crossing. It's not my thing. It's never going to be my thing. But it's a thing you can go into every day. You can do stuff. You can look for prices on your turnips and whatever the fuck else you do with fruit and fish and eggs. I don't know. There's things going on in Animal Crossing. It just doesn't interest me as a game. But it is definitely inflated in popularity due to everybody being stuck at home and having extra time to play.
Counter-Strike had one of their highest for March percentage player gains in like a year.
Yes. And I feel like that has a lot to do with people finally saying, like, well, let me boot up the computer and actually see what's on there, because they got tired of whatever games they had on other things. And and even people that don't play Counter-Strike are like, shit, let's try Counter-Strike, because I'm tired of whatever I was playing.
And it's technically free now.
Yeah. So, people that out there that we want to play Gmod with, you need to get your asses together and buy that shit so we can play more.
They need Source.
Yeah, it's $10. It's $10.
I'm not paying $10 for Source.
It's $10. But the other big news with all of this, and this is something that's going to kind of parlay into the next thing. First, one other thing to note before I say that is Final Fantasy VII launched early in some countries, but not in ours. Because of the crisis. They wanted to give people something to do, but they were like, fuck Americans, they don't need something to do. I don't know what that was about. Why it launched early in other places but not here, I don't understand. But it did. Unless you want to create fire, you can't play online. That's fair. But the big thing is, Sony and Microsoft still expect to meet their original release windows for the new consoles this fall/winter. They have not released official dates as of yet. Either one has had no official date. But they have said, like, fall. I believe there was a Thanksgiving time rumored with the Series X, which would make sense. You know, Black Friday's a big day for buying stuff. So the day makes sense. And we wanted to talk as well today about the new consoles and the specs they released to us that are going to be coming with those new consoles and what that means for those consoles. I'm not here to have a discussion about which one's going to be better. Which is better, PlayStation, Xbox. I'm not here to have a console war discussion. We're going to talk about what these consoles are going to be capable of, and both of them look pretty fucking awesome, to be completely honest. I think they're both coming up short on storage, but let's take a look at the actual stats. You guys don't have this in front of you, I assume. You guys haven't brought it up or anything? Brian does. Okay, Brian does his homework. That's...
I have notes. I just didn't write down... I know how many more teraflops it has.
The Nintendo Switch U.
I know it's like an 8-core CPU at like 3.5 for both, but I don't have it up.
Okay, so both are an 8-core CPU. The Xbox Series X is a 3.8, whereas PS5 is a 3.5. So it's a minimal difference. It still adds up to like 8%-ish difference that the Xbox is above, which really isn't anything. So the GPU for the Xbox is claiming a 12 teraflop AMD RDNA 2. The PS5 is a 10.2 teraflops variable frequency, which means overclocked to 10.28. Standard is lower than that, whereas the 12 teraflop for the Xbox is talking about a consistent, like a steady, held 12 teraflop speed. Think of that in terms of like a cruising speed versus a top speed on the reports we're getting. Both are saying they have 16 gigabytes GDDR6 RAM. That's exactly the same. The storage is where things get interesting. And this is why. So they both have custom SSDs. The storage for the Xbox Series X is a 1 terabyte NVMe custom SSD that can put out 2.4 gigahertz compressed to 4.8. The PS5 is 825 gigabytes SSD. It's a custom that puts out 5.5 gigahertz compressed to 8.5 to 9. So that's where the speed difference that you're seeing between the teraflops and the drives. And what's going to end up being faster, who the hell knows until we actually get our hands on it and see what's actually happening.
I mean, that comes down to the devs more.
Right. And how they, how the game developers utilize the tools at hand. The thing that concerns me for both of them is right here in the storage. And that is because we have 1 terabyte and 825 gigabytes. Now, I don't know about you guys, and everybody who plays at home, I can't say anything for you guys, but Call of Duty Warzone and Modern Warfare is 160 gigabytes by itself. I'm sorry, but next-gen consoles should be looking more in the neighborhood of 4 terabyte hard drives, in my opinion.
Well, isn't the big thing with the new PlayStation that you're going to be able to install the games by part? So for like Call of Duty, you could just install Warzone.
Well, you can do that now with Xbox.
Well, I
with
can't.
Call of Duty.
I don't have one.
So like
I believe that's supposed to be standard for the platform, though.
Right, but I mean, how big a file?
I think part of it
go ahead.
too is just the price of the console. Like solid state drives are expensive.
Yes.
So the fact that you're getting just a 1 terabyte in there, if you go any higher than that, the price of the console is going to go up.
Like even if they're losing money on it, it'd have to go up another $50.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but at the same time, it's just to me like I see like this is an option that like even if they doubled it, it would be better. Make it about a 2 terabyte, just so you have that extra space.
I mean, I'm still waiting to see what the price point is because if they're over $500, I don't know if anybody's going to buy them.
Well, I think Xbox, I believe, I forget who on their team, but one of the executives for the Xbox team recently said they've learned their lesson from Xbox One's $500 price tag. They plan to be more competitive because they know that hurt them. So I think with them, they know 500's not a great price, but that's as high as you can go.
Yeah. I don't think
Sony knows that from PStation 3, where their $600 minimum. That's a horrible price point.
PlayStation 3 kicked itself in the crotch with a $600 price point. That was just like
20 gig hard drive and no Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Looking at the extra space, like it says, like the expandable storage is there for an NVMe slot on the PS5, which is huge. That's something that the Xbox doesn't have. It has a USB 3.2 external for expanded hard drive.
I thought they announced that there's a special proprietary port to add an external hard drive for the Xbox.
Yes.
But it's not the USB 3 thing, right? Or is that
I thought that was the USB 3.2.
Oh, I thought it was something else because it's it would be similar speeds. Okay.
I'm not sure. I would have to... I'm pulling up what was the newest article of information I had today, but it wasn't really that much different.
I'm looking at an IGN breakdown that has the 2 columns together. Yeah. So for Xbox, it does list Seagate proprietary external 1 terabyte solid state expansion card.
Okay.
And USB 3.2.
And USB 3.2. Okay, so you're getting the option for both there.
Like they have a comma in between there, so I'm assuming they are 2 separate things.
Okay. Yeah. And the reason that's important for anybody that doesn't understand this stuff is that if you go into a normal HDD hard drive, it doesn't matter how fast your PC is, the game that you put on that hard drive is going to run at that hard drive. You want to have the game that you're currently playing on your SSD. And having such small... I mean, don't get me wrong, 1 terabyte sounds great, but it's really not, in my opinion. It's not much space for your SSD. So having it expandable where you're going to have to pay to get that extra space, but for an SSD for both, that's something. Moving on from there, both have the same claims for resolution for their 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray drives, 120 frame per second max.
Which I don't understand.
Yeah, when PCs are already above that, it makes no sense.
No, because most TVs aren't 120 hertz, and I can't imagine that many people are hooking their consoles up to the gaming monitors.
I think you'd be surprised by that. I actually know a really good number of people that I played Destiny with on Xbox that played on monitors.
Well, that is also... I feel like you were playing that competitively, and that's why?
Not so much. I played mostly PvE. I played some competitively.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of the people that were just raiding a lot, they had monitors for it because it's
It's
so
also a
much
group of
better
people,
to
Mike,
game.
that I think you guys invested a lot of time and like you guys were playing that religiously. So I think you guys upped the bar on how you were playing and where.
Well, I never did. I didn't have a monitor to play on
I'm
until
saying so even the
after.
people you're playing with, I think took it a little bit more seriously than your casual gamer.
Well, and that's what this is for, though, isn't it? Like
What the
those top end specs are all for like your average gamer is going to look at this and see the teraflops and be like, "That's the faster one,"
I
and
think
have
the
that
average
be
gamer
what
is not
they
even going to look at the specs.
right. And that's what I'm saying. So saying the
But I
120
think the other
frames per
thing
second
is,
max.
I also think it's meaningless because most console games can't even run at 60.
Well, no,
Like,
right now they can't. I mean, and that's part of it though. Is
but
also it
they
needs
were
to be an
supposed
upgraded on the Xbox One X. It needs to be an upgrade, and the Xbox One X can run at 60. So,
I don't think it runs everything consistently at 60 even now.
well, the games don't all run at 60, but it can run at 60. So if this
Mm.
wasn't upgrading that potential, it would
I just have
seem
a hard time seeing them consistently hitting 120 on a console. And then if they do, I have a harder time seeing a significant chunk of the market taking advantage of it.
oh, I don't think that'll be a thing. I think you're absolutely right. But having that option there and having that number is what was important to them to sell consoles. That's the way I view that is they're trying to sell their consoles. They're both hitting that same number.
I think with the specs, that really is only like the early adopters buy it and then they tell their friend, oh, this one's the more powerful one. And that's about the end of the discussion for power.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like a Switch where it's a clearly different class, then
Oh
maybe
yeah.
that's a real conversation. But I don't know how much they're gonna push the 120 hertz because I feel like we're gonna get a breakdown. Yeah, it runs at 120 hertz, but only at like 960p.
Well, what I was gonna well no, they're like the Xbox One X from or the Xbox Series X from like their first original claims
Hmm.
was 4K 120 frames per second.
Yeah, but I doubt it.
I'm just saying, like when the first
I
specs started coming out, that was one of the original claims, and I said, "How the fuck much is this gonna cost?"
I'm trying to think if you can do that even on like a 2080. Like I think 4K 120
run-
FPS is very hard.
I run 4K 60 frames. I don't even try to go higher than that. Like I have no
That's
interest.
what I mean. If you're on a 2070.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's tough to do with their hardware.
Mm-hmm. So, but at the same time, we'll see what it actually puts out when it releases.
I mean, I think the cooler thing is them having the SSDs because that adds a lot of new gameplay opportunities where you don't have to have elevators that take a long ass time to go somewhere. You can also plan your game around it instantly being loadable and going places,
Yes.
which is why I don't know what the point of having external non-SSD storage available is because if that's a real option, then the developers can't take advantage of that speed if they have to worry about someone being on a USB 3 external hard drive playing the game off that. Like, I can't see using that external hard drive for more than game saves or something, but those all go to the cloud now anyway, so I don't see the point in having that unless it's maybe for media, but I just don't think you can put games on there.
See, and that's the thing. Hey, Warner. That's the thing that I think personally is that if you put your games on your standard external hard drive and they run like shit, that's on you.
I just don't think they should let it because it holds back the developers from doing these cool things.
Does it hold them back? Like, I feel like the developers should look at it as if you do that, that's your fault. Too bad. If you're wondering why the game isn't running, we have a
But to
reason
Ian's
for
point,
you
they still have to they still have
They
to
have to
program it
account
to
for
the
it.
yeah, you
Yeah.
have to take the lowest common denominator into effect whenever you're developing a game.
That or
Right,
the
but
game
is the
just
lowest
doesn't
common
work.
denominator like an external? Something that somebody has to
If it's
buy
an
off,
option,
like
if it's an
aftermarket
option,
to
you
add?
have to account for it. Just
Yeah.
like early Xbox games had to account for people having no hard drives.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's okay. Well, yeah, in that respect, you're right. Then it's bad.
I mean, they could always do it. Like maybe there's just a point where you can use the external regular hard drive just to store games. If you want to play a game, it's going to make you
Move it.
transfer the game to the solid state.
And I wonder how long that takes.
Depends on the
Yeah,
size of the game,
well-
but modern games a long fucking time. For sure. Like, you try to move a 160 gigabyte game from hard drive to solid state drive.
Because I don't see them
It's a while.
putting in the fine print like, oh, we have this USB port where you can put an external hard drive in there, but you have to get a solid state drive if you want to do that. They're not going to do that.
It's a weird thing. For what they would have planned. I guess we'll see, this time next year, maybe we'll have a better idea of exactly where that fell.
And developers might have to start caring about actually not making their games huge again. Like back when the Xbox arcade had like a 250 megabyte limit.
Well, this is something.
Care about compression.
Yeah,
they had to fit it on the DVD.
That's what I was going to say. Is like recently, I remember the download for Shadowkeep on Destiny 2 actually decreased the size of the file of the entire game. Because it increased the efficiency of how they had files arranged and everything set up in the game in terms of all the files. And it went from being like 118 or something in that 120 gigabyte range to being 88 gigs. Because they made it more efficient and they compressed it to make more sense. And make it a smaller file, which that's what companies should be doing. Which I feel like at 160 gigs, there's no way Modern Warfare is doing that. Don't get me wrong, that game is fucking gorgeous if you play the campaign.
Yeah, I'm going to try that with ray tracing on.
It is beautiful, even on a standard Xbox. The game is beautiful. Playing it on a PC that it can actually run high graphics settings, I can't even I want to do it, but I also fucked up and bought the game on console versus PC, so I'd have to pay again. That was my bad. But
so there's something else I want to bring up too. Is we're all talking about needing external hard drives to store games and stuff. The future of gaming is not going to be storing games on a hard drive. It's going to be like xCloud and streaming. We could get to a point with these consoles where you're not even downloading a game; you're just streaming it through the service you're paying for.
That is the hope, yeah.
Because it's an xCloud supposed to be rolled into games first. What's it called? I almost called it games for Windows. Game Pass.
Yes.
And then that's going to be rolled into Gold. So it's
Microsoft's going to push some sort of subscription. You're going to get all this stuff for one monthly subscription.
And they're going to price it so it seems dumb not to get that one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that's what they did with Game Pass Ultimate, which included Gold and your Game Pass. Brian and I did the same thing at the same time. Where if you purchased an extension on your Gold, for $1 you added Game Pass Ultimate and it became part of your subscription. And then you purchased an extension onto your Gold. And so for he and I both, it was $1 and we got 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate added to our Gold subscription.
Well, yeah. What we did, we front loaded our Xbox Live subscription. Bought the prepaid codes to extend Live for 3 years or something. That was the max you could do.
Yeah.
And then when you signed up for Game Pass for the deal was you get Game Pass for $1. And then what it does is merges with your existing Xbox Live subscription, so it bundles it together immediately, and you've now paid $1 to have Game Pass for 3 years because that's how far your Gold account went for.
Yep. So as long as you were subscribed for Gold out, it would add Game Pass to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm covered on Game Pass, I think, until June of 2022.
But I mean, everything that I've read about xCloud, people are saying it's amazing and it works flawless. Now, this is still testing and stuff, so
yeah,
I'd be curious to see once the masses get a hold of it. But because we haven't heard too much of when it's going to release, if it's going to be released when this console comes out. I'm anxious to hear more details about it and how well it works and what it's supposed to do, but I think it's going to be great.
That's something that's very possible because Microsoft is quoted as telling us they still have a big surprise for us in terms of the console.
And don't forget, Sony couldn't figure out how to fucking get their streaming service off the ground, so they partnered with Microsoft to do this. They are using Microsoft tech for a streaming service.
Which brings me to my next point.
Crossplay.
Not to crossplay, actually. So I'll refer you both to look at your screen right now, and this is something that Sony should also refer to Microsoft to. I don't give a shit what other people say.
What am I looking at?
Are we looking at the Twitch screen?
Yes, you're going to look at the Twitch stream.
I was like, what screen? I'm looking at Skype. I don't see anything. See, Brian. You same as always.
Okay, so there we have it. the DualSense, the new controller for the PlayStation 5.
It's got a lot of good pictures.
Yeah, no, that failed there. It was a little bit wonky getting it up on the screen. Sorry for that. I have a bunch of stuff because I had to add Leon to Ian's name. I clicked the wrong thing at the wrong time. So we have the DualSense, and you can see two angles of it here. You got that one, gives you a look at the touchpad there in the middle. And you've got that one, of course, which is a straight-on look at it. Again, I'll say the Xbox 360 perfected the controller, and which is why the Xbox One controller is basically the exact same thing as the Xbox 360. And now, we have our Elite Series 2 controllers. You can see the STMP grips on there, which I'm sponsored by.
What's the code they should use?
TAUR will get you 30% off with STMP grips. They're actually really awesome. Those are the Pro grips I have on there. Those are pretty good.
You're supposed to be showing us something. We're still looking at the PS5 controller.
You're right. I can give you a quick look at those. Well, there's that. So I have to bring up the background first to make this make sense. There it is. Okay, so you have...
It's still a PS5 controller.
It'll swap.
Okay.
So you have the Elite Series 2. You can see those are the Pro Series grips from STMP grips. They're pretty awesome. And that controller there, it just tells me, like, there's a reason they have that touchpad on there, and it's because they had that touchpad thing accessible on the PS4.
Yeah, backwards compatibility.
Right. And it comes down to backwards compatibility, where they have to have that touchpad on the PS5 controller again because they want backwards compatibility to PS4 games that used it.
Yep.
My opinion, they should alter something and just beg Microsoft to let them use the Elite Series 2. Or
well, they talked
model.
about they might release a version where the joysticks are not in parallel, where it more resembles an Xbox controller. There's talk that they might be doing that.
Or even Nintendo did it. This is a Nintendo Switch controller. What's that look like? Looks like a fucking Xbox controller. Why? Because it's the perfect fucking controller.
Perfect controllers are rectangles and have 3 buttons.
4, select, and start were on there, man.
You don't need those, though. If it's a good game, you don't need
You
them.
just need D-pad AB.
Yep.
My point is that, to me, the Xbox controller has always felt more natural. It has felt better.
Yep.
And, like Deathwatch says, the joysticks being parallel, if you prefer that, you're kind of like Brian in my sense of liking the inverted controls.
Wow, he just called those people dumpster babies.
No.
I felt it.
Garbage children.
Yes, that's the ad right there, honey. The thing for me as well is the bumpers and triggers.
Mm-hmm.
It never felt right on a PlayStation controller to me.
I hold my controllers weird, so that's on me.
You did a claw grip?
I think so. I got 2 sticks on the 2 fingers on the joystick.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay.
On the left one.
2 fingers on the left joystick when you play?
One's a thumb and then the index finger.
Yeah, no, I got the 2 fingers that you would use.
Yeah. Oh, I got a controller here. Let me grab it.
I was gonna say, show me how you hold a controller, because I'm just entirely confused by what you're saying here.
Controller point, everybody. Here it comes.
Oh, no, this is PlayStation controller setup, so I don't do it on that.
Well, then what's the point of showing us?
Well, no, I got an Xbox looking one.
Look at that ass too. While yes. Is
that good?
Ian showing off that ass.
Did it look good?
Sure.
Sweatpants really bring it out in you.
Yeah.
They're sleeping pants, not sweatpants.
You mean pajamas?
Nope.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
So yeah, I guess I don't do it anymore because it's not natural, but I would hold it like I can't see it. Yeah. Like that.
So then what, your middle finger's on the bumper buttons, the trigger?
Yeah. But now it's
God, how the hell do you do that?
Well, I don't anymore apparently from holding this.
Okay. thank God for that, because holy crap, that's... I couldn't do that. Like, I just tried to hold the controller the same way, and that's all, no.
Yeah, and this is why you didn't play on game battles for Gears of War.
Okay.
Pro-level strats.
Pro-level strats, okay. Well, there
That's
is
why
something
I'm
called a
in
claw
Valorant.
grip where people hold... It's like nipple tweaking. It's exactly right.
Okay, thought we were talking about butts.
But there
Yeah,
is something called a
exactly.
claw grip on a controller, which is a little bit weird. But nonetheless, I just feel like...
What I really like about the controller is it's got a built-in microphone and it's USB-C.
You mean the Xbox controller or the...
No, the PS5.
The
Built-in mic
The
and
built-in
a
mic is
USB-C.
nice. Well,
Yeah.
Series 2, Elite Series 2 is USB-C.
I know, but it's now the standard. That's what I'm for.
Oh, okay.
All PS5 controllers will be USB-C, so that's why I like that.
Yes, which
now
means you can
standard.
use them on computer now, right? You can use them on PC if they're USB-C, right?
Well, you could already use because if you had Bluetooth, you could already do it.
Deathwatch, 4 months subscribed. Thanks, man.
So a lot of people just did that, or I think the Xbox ones just work natively now. I don't think you needed Bluetooth, but for PlayStation, if you had Bluetooth, you could get them to work.
Okay.
It still will come down to how they work. I think it will, but it might still be some weird Bluetooth thing. I don't think we know enough yet.
I've never tried, personally, using the PlayStation controller on a PC because I just use the Xbox one.
I guess I have multiple controllers. Apparently, I have a recent form on PC, but I haven't. My time with needing them didn't coincide when I still had a PS4 and Bluetooth on my PC.
Okay. Nonetheless, I think it looks good. It looks better than the current state of the PS4 DualShock or whatever it's called.
DualShock.
DualShock 4 is what it's called.
I don't know where they got that from.
I'm not sure either. But it looks better to me than that. It looks like a step forward for the PlayStation controller.
Like how the SNES controller was a step behind the N64 controller. I said the wrong name first. I had to say step behind instead of step forward.
I'm confused. So you're saying that the Nintendo 64 controller was above the SNES controller?
Yes, it was a step above. A step forward.
Okay, well, I actually there was a poll earlier I looked at on Twitter that asked you to rate a bunch of game controllers from best to worst.
64 was last. No, it was
Not
probably
for me.
that one Atari or ColecoVision one where it had the thing you had to turn the controller.
Oh no, yeah, that wasn't on there. That wasn't on there.
Oh, that should have been on there. Thing fucking sucked.
Most of it was more modern than that. I think the SNES controller was the oldest one on there.
Okay.
Last place was a Mad Catz controller that was on there for some who knows what reason.
Was it just general Mad Catz controller?
Yeah, Mad Catz was so
one?
shit with their stuff.
Or a specific Mad Catz one.
No, they showed a third of the controller and it just said Mad Catz on it and it was like, okay, that's last place. And then Sega Dreamcast for me was the next worst that they had listed. I think my tops were they had the Xbox One controller, which that was my top choice, obviously. They listed the DualSense there, the new one for PlayStation 5, which it was like, nobody's used this yet. Nobody fucking knows where to rank this thing. Mm-hmm. But the N64 controller, for me, I think was fourth. I put the GameCube controller second, which I still say that's the closest thing to being as good as the Xbox One controller that we've gotten. And I want to say I put the PlayStation 3 or 4, whatever it was, third. And then the Joy-Cons, a lot of people don't like the Joy-Cons, but man, those things are fucking versatile. They can do so many things, and that's why I would put them fairly high ranked. Yes, and I did want to bring up Sega for a moment. Amy's reminding me there. So, this will segue us off of this. Unless you guys have any other thoughts on the new consoles and the specs or anything that you want to talk about?
I don't think anything else on the spec. I do want to just about the controllers. I think
Go for
I agree with you that the Xbox controller is still, I think, like par for the course right now. That's the bar, I think, for me. Um, I do like the way the PS5 controller looks, and I'm sort of with you too. I can't get over the triggers. Any shooter that I've played on PS4, I still have to map like the actual trigger buttons to the top shoulder buttons. I can't use the bottom triggers. They just feel too loosey goosey. It feels weird.
Yep.
Like not as solid as pulling a trigger on an Xbox controller or something. Um, and I do kind of like the look of the PS5. I think it looks cool. But the one thing that still drives me up a fucking wall, and Sony got this right for the PlayStation 4. They're doing it for the PlayStation 5. Xbox still has not got an internal rechargeable battery for the fucking controllers. Why can't they do that?
Elite Series 2 does.
Yeah, but then you're asking someone to buy a $180 controller on top of the one that should come with the system, like the PS5 that comes with a rechargeable battery inside.
But it's forwards compatible, Brian.
Right,
You
and
can
that's
put all
why
that other crap on there, but like you're making me buy another accessory peripheral when it should be in the controller.
that is actually why I bought the Series 2, is because it was going to be
You just
forward
wanted a
compatible.
$180 rechargeable battery?
No, because it's forward compatible to the Series X. If it was just going to be for the Xbox, I wouldn't have bought it.
Well, I don't think they would have released it.
Right, but you get my point, though. Like a $180
yeah.
controller for 1 year of a console, fuck that. No, the controller's amazing, but no. But
I get a
it's
$2 Steam controller.
right, because it's going to Series X, yeah, I will pay that for it. And it's still the best. If you want a controller to play a PC game with, it's still the best you're going to get. There's not anything better out there. But you're right. The battery on the standard Xbox controllers is shitty. You have to
Like
buy.
you can get that play and charge
aftermarket.
kit for like $20 or $25, which is fine. That replaces the batteries you have to buy, instead of buying batteries all the time. But still, that should come internal in the controller.
Yep. And I think part of the reason, is because people forget. And I feel like that's like something where I'm like, you know what? If you forget, that's on you. It's more convenient to have the rechargeable internal thing. One of the issues I had with PlayStation 4 at the start was that it was very hard to find a USB wall plug that would charge your controller. You had to charge it off the system. And if it ran out while you were playing, you either had another controller charged or you had to stop.
Yeah.
Because it like at the start, like it was a USB 2 point whatever. And if you tried to use it on a standard USB charger, it wouldn't work. You had to have that higher end USB charger at that time, which it did. The system did not come with a wall port. It only came with the one, like the cord to plug it into the system.
Yeah.
So you had to find a wall port that actually accepted that. And that bugged the shit out of me early on with it. Later on, once those were more accessible, it was better in that sense. Yes. Because I mean, even
So
with
is it-
Xbox, like I usually would have like gaming sessions that would last long enough where the controller would have died, so I had to be plugged into the wall with a cord.
Yeah, to start that
the
trial
wall.
over again.
Yeah, yeah, or like a fucking raid carry that lasted 8 hours or some shit.
That's hard carry.
We did that the other night. That was fun.
Oh, I was like, I have not been raiding.
No. That was our 19 kill combined
Yeah.
19 kill first place run with 3 from the other two. That was a good match. That was a good match.
Yeah, too bad no one recorded it. So yeah,
First match I haven't recorded in a long time, by the way. That is actually true. We had a really good match, and I did not have it recorded. And I was the last person standing. I got the final kill in a match of Warzone for the first time. I got the final kill myself, and I didn't record it. So yes, Amy's reminding me there. So recently, I watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I actually bought it because that was the option. There was not a rent option. It was buy it for $20 or nothing. And I wanted to watch it, so it was like, fuck it, let's do it. It's, I was pleasantly surprised. It was awesome. But there's one thing that didn't happen at the start of that movie that pissed me off. So both of you just tune into the stream and just listen for a second to the stream. Turn the sound back on the stream so you can hear it.
I know what you're talking about because I was waiting for it too.
Just never happened. It just never happened.
Mm-hmm.
All they had to do one time, just right at the start. Instead, they give you this like weird version of that isn't the same thing, and I'm like, God fucking damn it! I just wanted that nostalgia just for 1 second, where we get the fucking Sega that we got when we played Sonic for the first time. But no, we didn't get that. That's my only complaint with that movie. Otherwise, it was wonderful. It was lovely.
You're gonna have to wait for Sonic 2 when he becomes Ultimate Sonic.
Well, no, they showed Tails at the end.
What does that do
Spoiler.
with Ultimate Sonic?
Well, they didn't show Knuckles.
No, Ultimate Sonic, like his form when he has all the Chaos Emeralds.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about. Not like a
Jerks.
game or something. Like the specific Ultimate Sonic form.
I don't know if I ever unlocked the Ultimate Sonic form.
Yeah, you had to get all the Chaos Emeralds. It was a bitch.
Yeah, I know I've gotten some Chaos Emeralds, but I never got them all. What does it do? What actually happens in Sonic's ultimate form?
You go real fast and you're like yellow.
That's it? You just turn yellow and you go a little bit faster?
Yeah, and if I remember right, I think there might have been some like invincibility thing or something.
Is it like New Game Plus? Do you start the whole thing over?
Oh, no.
It's just for any point after that.
Yeah, but I think it depends on the game too. It's been a while because I haven't been keeping up with Sonic because the game
No,
sucks
that's
now.
fair. The last time I actually enjoyed it, like, don't get me wrong, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, masterpieces. Fucking lovely. After that, it fell off very, very hard for me. Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3.
Yeah, I think I liked Sonic Adventure Battle 2 a lot, but that wasn't because of the Sonic stuff. I liked raising my Chaos thing or whatever they were. Me and my brother got real competitive with that like whole Chaos mini game where you had to raise the little purple things and feed them animals to let them grow abilities and stuff. We got real
Feed
deep
them
into
animals?
that. Yeah, the animals you would rescue from the robots, you had to feed to them.
The fuck are you rescuing them for then?
To feed them. You know, just like how you would take some rabbits and you'd slit their throats and feed them to your tigers. You get some animals and you feed them to your Chaos.
All right, Carol.
Chows. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know Sonic got that dark.
It's very lighthearted and very colorful. Very legal, very cool.
I mean, okay. You're opening my eyes to something I didn't realize was in Sonic.
They ate them. Don't lie. They didn't hug them. They ate them. It was brutal.
They didn't eat them. They hugged them and they gained their animal traits. Having not played, I don't know which of you is telling the truth.
I mean,
if you had to choose, which one would you choose?
I don't know.
survival of the fittest. Chili dogs, baby hippos, baby birds.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's what he eats. That's what they eat. Chili dogs and baby animals that you feed them.
All right,
You're
guys.
just naming things for some reason.
Oh, bears.
So I told Ian, I told Brian, I told Leon, and I told Brian, and I told you guys in the Discord there that we were going to discuss New World. It's an interesting looking game. I don't want to say MMO because there is some contention as to whether or not that's going to be an applicable title to this or not. So what I'm going to do with you real quick right now is I'm going to share with you guys the trailer for New World so that you guys know what I'm talking about, so that you guys have some idea what's going on and what game we're referring to, because this game has been pushed back to an August release by the whole pandemic going around. So check out the trailer here.
Liverman.
You mean that wasn't that like Samuel L. Jackson, or was
No, that's a
Damon
1996 Steven Seagal film. Yes,
Damon Wayans
with
and Steven Seagal.
Keenan Wayans.
Oh, it was Keenan Wayans. I knew it was a Wayans.
It was a Wayans. Yes, it's a excellent film that everyone should watch. Where Steven Seagal makes the Wayans brother eat horse penis. No, deer penis. It's a herbal remedy thing. It's a whole thing because this is during Steven Seagal's Buddhist phase. So yeah, New World is very cool.
So yes,
I really
New
like
World.
the combat.
Yes, and what I can read to you as well, since I feel like that cinematic doesn't do the best job.
No, it does not. I watched the cinematic and I was like, I kind of like this, but I was like, this doesn't give me anything to like talk about because like nothing in it tells me anything really about the game, other than it's probably colonial times, and that's probably where they got the title from.
Perhaps.
Because like America was the New World. This is the New
Right,
World.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm not disputing that. I'm just like, it seems like older than colonial times to me.
Well, no, but like the most, like it started off as like more like a Roman centurion, but then in the midpoint of the trailer, when they actually grab the gem off the statue and they have like the single fire pistol and stuff, like I think it's very much closer to colonial times at that point. Like that guy, he's dressed more like colonial, maybe, I guess. I don't know what that early, like 14, 15, maybe late Middle Ages, was that it, or no?
So,
you know what I mean, yeah.
I'll read to you what they say about it. How about that?
No.
So they say legend has led generations of explorers to the supernatural frontier known as Eternium. Rich in a powerful substance known as Azoth, which many believe to be the source of eternal life. Eternum, it's a difficult word to say. Has beckoned both the pure of heart and the wicked to its shores. These intrepid individuals are harried at every turn by a malevolent force, humanoid creatures warped and twisted by a malignant element known as the corruption. Oh. The corruption, as its name suggests, corrupts life it comes into contact with to varying degrees, based on exposure and the constitution of the host. Some are left as bestial husks, while others are elevated to power unimaginable. When not facing down the corrupted, explorers are beset upon by rival companies of humans who are just as eager to conquer and exploit Aeternum. Life in New World is a harsh contest of survival, and only the brave and cunning can hope to fight back the spreading darkness. So, to give you guys an idea of what this game is claiming to be, and what some of the early videos have suggested from people that have access to betas currently, which they're allowed to show us, which is very limited. They don't want a lot of gameplay and stuff out there as of yet. They are focusing very clearly on combat for the individual player. So you're going to be playing in a larger scale warfare of units playing against each other. 50 versus 50 is what they're saying. Will be the standard siege type, where somebody's defending, somebody's on offense. But you'll also be taking part in solo combat, where they scaled and designed the combat more to fit the mold of a game like Dark Souls. Then your standard MMO, where you determine an input and the action occurs and stats are rolled and the stats win out the day. Here, your stats won't always win if you're faced with a higher skilled opponent. So what they're trying to do with it is create an individual action-focused game with a larger scale happening all around it, where every individual battle is affecting the larger battle as a whole. The PvE side of things seems to be, from what I could tell from looking at it, from watching the minimal videos that exist, slight mix of like Elder Scrolls and Dark Souls, while you're trying to level up your character in different ways, but there's not specific classes. You can kind of create your own class by leveling up whatever you choose, and becoming whatever it is you can imagine. Supposedly, this is what they're claiming.
Well, the big thing I saw with one of the videos, because it's still in, I think it was from the alpha, because I don't think at the time he had access to he's not in the actual beta yet, but
the beta's in June.
It was from the alpha then, and the level up screen showed you could only permanently reset your stats for free up to level 10. So then after that, you have to pay some type of cost. so that it would let you, mess around early on to see what kind of character you wanted to build. So, because since you're not locked into a class, so it would let you play around, like, I'll go for a high speed build, or I want to do magic. Like, so it gave you that flexibility early on, at least, to make that free as
Yes.
of the alpha.
Yeah, to mess around until, like you said, level 10. Maybe they'll extend that. I don't know. Like, we don't know how long it takes to get to level 10 either.
No,
You know
and
what I
it
mean? Like,
also like depends on what the cost is, because it could be benign.
well, and that's something they actually stressed in one of the videos I watched, is that the in-game economy is going to flourish based on the individual decisions of players on your server and how much they tax their people. So, like,
High.
within their own server, you may lose residents of your place because they go to a place with lower taxes, or they stay with you for lower taxes, so you get more people paying a lower rate and therefore more money, or you get less people paying a higher rate and therefore more money. And it's a balancing system versus the fix the screen. What's wrong with the screen?
You can see my little, like, the little Skype pop out on my frame
That's
right
it.
here.
People
Yeah,
like Amy, come on. That's all you were making a big deal about. Um,
it really threw me off.
okay.
I could just feel it touching me.
But nonetheless, like, there's economy that you can control in the game as a ruler of your domain or sanctum or whatever the hell it's going to be called in the game. And then there's also invasions that they've talked about. If you put in !New World, it'll take you. There's a link to their website, which is newworld.com. Fairly simple, but you can get a link to go check out the game. It looks really interesting to me, and I highly recommend checking out what they've got in store and some of the YouTube videos out there from people that have had access to the game so far and what they've experienced. The combat looks really cool. The large scale combat, I think we'll have to see in action in the future when more people have access to it and we can see a full 50v50. And the PvE evidently has been so far very limited in the experience that you're allowed to have in the alpha. But from what they have said, it seems like a Dark Souls light kind of thing. So, Brian, what are your thoughts on this? I know this is most outside your wheelhouse as far as the type of game goes.
I mean, I watched the trailer. The trailer looked cool. Like, the cinematic was cool, but I don't know. Nothing about it seems like it piques my interest really much at all.
So, have you ever played anything like Diablo?
No.
Well, he kind of has, probably Borderlands.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
Okay. I've never actually played much of Borderlands because I didn't care for it when I tried it. But I did like Diablo, so that's weird. But
Well, it's basically looter shooter versus action RPG kind of. There's different elements, but it's more about the loot in those.
yes, those are
That's
more about
what
the loot.
it sounds like.
I was looking at the gameplay aspect of it, but what about
Well,
Elder
that's, I think
Scrolls? That
For
was
you,
for you,
Brian.
Brian. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I haven't played that either. No.
okay.
Jesus Christ. How
Okay.
do you live?
So it
You
won.
played the Spider-Man game?
I did do that. Yeah.
I didn't play it, so I don't know if that's comparable.
No, it's not comparable to those games at all, but it's a fucking fantastic game and worth buying a PlayStation just to play that alone. One, Brian, you need to play Elder Scrolls. You need to get in on that at some point. It's amazing.
Yeah, my laundry list of games continues to grow. I can't add that big of a game to this right now.
I understand where you're at, but Elder Scrolls should be above everything else on that list. To be fair, like, whatever's
in
on
your opinion,
whatever's on your list, Elder Scrolls should top that list.
I got to see the list, but probably.
if I ever get the interest to play it, you'll be the first to know.
Oh, I'm getting a phone call from Sierra Madre, California. I'm wondering what the hell's buzzing on my table.
It's gonna be important.
Yes, I totally know somebody in Sierra Madre. Nonetheless, yeah, like this game looks like the end game is going to be PvP, and it's all about the PvE leading up to that and leveling up so that you're able to take on the high levels of PvP. Looks like a lot of fun. Can't wait to fucking play it. Or at least try it out in beta. Because it looks like all you have to do is kind of like pre-order it, and then in June when the beta goes live, you'll get access to it. But this is another game that got pushed back because of the virus. This was supposed to release, I believe, sometime in June as opposed to the beta being in June, and they pushed it back to August. So, as much as that sucks, it's given us time to really knock a lot of stuff off of our list of games to play. And we've just been playing fucking Warzone instead.
Yeah.
At least me. That's the case. Like, Brian alerted me, I'm going to be playing the Ghostbusters game soon. I think when I finally come back to streaming, that's going to be the first game I stream again, is the Ghostbusters Remastered. Because why not? That's going to be fun.
You have not played that, right?
No, I never played it.
Okay.
So I believe that'll be the first game that I'll stream when I come back. That'll be fun. Because it looks like fun. It's got the original cast. And I believe they voice acted it too, right?
What's that?
They voice acted that game too, didn't they?
Yeah, this was... I can't remember when the game came out. I don't remember what year, but it was essentially Ghostbusters 3. This was before the all-female Ghostbusters. This was
before Harold the only time they died.
Got the... Yeah. So him and Aykroyd wrote this. Well, they had a script together for the game. They brought in Aykroyd and Ramis to touch up the script, but they're listed as writing, like the writers of the script for the game.
So they obviously did enough to get that far.
Yeah. So it's got really nice tie-ins to the original 2 movies. Yeah, they got the first 2, and it's fun. Like if you actually read the Ghostbusters comic, which I've picked up like the trade paperbacks for some of the ongoing series and stuff. They acknowledge the game in the comic. Like the comic sort of takes place after the game, which the game is 2 years after Ghostbusters 2. So it takes place 1991.
Ah, so he's not all covered in the goo.
No.
That's good. He has washed off the goo. Yeah, so like the general idea of the Ghostbusters game, if you guys don't know, is you take up like a rookie Ghostbuster, I believe. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you play through God knows what. I don't know. I have not spoiled myself on much more than that, except like the description that they give you. But it went on sale recently, and Brian notified me of that. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm buying it.
Will they talk about your pay? Like how much a rookie Ghostbuster makes?
I don't remember. I have to...
I would like that. That's
but it's
always
funny.
Like...
That's a big Twinkie.
The your character that you play, the rookie, never gets a name, and he never talks.
Yeah. Well, that you get you into the character.
Yeah. Well, they sort of explain it like beginning of the game, like, well, if this kid blows up testing some equipment, we don't want to get too attached, so we're not going to give him a name.
Yeah. Explain it away real quick. Yeah.
I love that explanation. That is like the perfect fucking Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis explanation to why you wouldn't have a name. So I'm really looking forward to that. What games do you guys have on the docket that you plan to play next? We can wrap up with that discussion. Like, what are you gonna play other than Warzone?
I have decided that I started it when I was recovering from surgery. I didn't finish it, so my other goal is to try to get through The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, all right. Not played that one.
Yeah, me neither. I just got to Pittsburgh, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
It sucks.
Does it look like Pittsburgh? Is it like an accurate representation, or is it...
I mean, it's overgrown, so there's cars and like abandoned cars and overgrown weeds and stuff everywhere. You can see. I didn't get too far, so you see some street signs that mention Pittsburgh and some places around Pittsburgh, and you can see a couple of the bridges, but that's about it right now.
So, do the bridges look accurate though? Like, can you see like the Kaleni Bridge, the yellow bridges? You know what I mean?
As far as I can tell right now, it's a yellow bridge in the background that you're trying to get to.
So you can see the yellow arch bridges. Cool.
Yeah.
You're probably in Carrick. That's a joke that only I got.
No, I mean, like, I'm thinking, like, in general, where you're talking about, he could be in either direction of it, but...
Somewhere downtown.
I just meant all the shit lying around.
Oh, well, that could be Braddock, too. I mean, like...
Yeah, it's true.
We're the
but
north
I was going
side. That's what it will look like when we get out of quarantine. Maybe. Ian, what do you got on your docket next, man?
So a lot of Valorant because I gotta see how good I am at that and see if I'm gonna. I don't know if they're charging money for it or not when it comes on release. I don't know if they've had that discussion.
It said it's free. According to its official website, it's going to be free to play.
Well, that makes sense, but I felt like they were finally. I don't know which one because I believe Riot's working on like, including Runeterra and Valorant. They're working on like 4 or 5 other games, and I think at least one of them wasn't going to be free, so I wasn't sure which one it was.
Okay.
But so there's that, and then I've been ticking away at The Witcher. It's going slow because of Warzone and now Valorant, but I've been working my way there. It's the furthest I've ever gotten in The Witcher.
Where are you
But
at?
I'm at the. I guess it's the second town. I forget the names now. But when you're actually in like the city thing, and you start by coming out of the sewers.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm there and I'm witching. I think the last time I quit was because I couldn't kill something, and I had to make an executive decision to leave.
That's fair. I'd stopped streaming it, but I kept playing it. I felt like it wasn't good to stream because there was just so much dialogue. And I wanted to talk to chat, because people were talking to me in chat, and I wanted to talk back to them, but I also didn't want to talk over the game and the story that was happening all the time. And I was like, this game is fun, this game is awesome, but it just didn't feel good to stream. So that's why I stopped streaming it. But I kept playing it, and it's pretty fucking good. So
It's that, and then I'll probably succumb and get Bannerlord to try it out, and then play it like once, and then just wait for it to come out.
I have thought about the same thing. Like, I was watching somebody play it during that first few days, and I was like, oh man, this looks fucking fun. Like, I'm just watching I can't remember which streamer it was. I just clicked on a random one that was playing it, and it looks cool as shit.
Oh yeah.
So I may have to hop in there and try that one out too. But again, I may wait for release, like the official release.
Yeah. I might just jump back into Mortal to get my combat satiated.
I mean, you could always hop into Dark Souls again. Did you ever finish Dark Souls?
Oh no, that's on a very long back burn.
I mean,
because I've already been thinking about starting up Fallout again.
You should really do Dark Souls, man. It is the FromSoft is the best game developer there is right now, and I'll say that. Fight me if you want to. I don't care.
It's Rito, and it's Rito, and it's Rito.
I have no idea what you mean by that.
That's what we call Riot Games in the community.
Rito. Oh, well.
Because you mistype because you're going so fast because you're mad.
Well, you go ahead and think that all you want.
Just LOL. Teamfight Tactics. Runeterra. Valorant. Just hits.
Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. All games of the year.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them.
And all their games be free, yo. Thug life.
Yeah, and if you want a skin in Dark Souls, you earn it.
Skin?
Yeah.
I earn it too by going to my job.
That's how you earn the right to play Dark Souls in the first place.
That's a mic drop, Ian. I think you gotta leave on that one.
Having said that, if you think Ian should complete Dark Souls at some point, let him know. Feel free to send him text messages or send him direct messages in Discord. He's passion lip in there. Go for it. Put a F in chat. Yeah, you could do that. F in chat for Ian's FromSoft experiences, as we may never see them again. You could also put an X to doubt if you wish that he'll never play it again. But having said that, guys, it's been fun talking with you guys about this. We're going to do this again in 2 weeks. Hopefully there's some more new shit to talk about in the gaming world between now and then. I'm looking forward to it. And if there's not new shit, we'll talk about old shit again. Because old shit's always fun to talk about in gaming. We did that a bit at the start, And it's always fun to reminisce about what games used to be like and how much better quality of life in video gaming is now as opposed to then.
I don't know. If I could just have that Gears of War back where I had all that time in the world and I had host shotgun, I'd be okay.
Well, speaking of Gears of War, we need to play 5 soon, Brian. We got to finish 4 for you so we can get into 5. We got to do this. Even if it's off stream, I don't give a shit. We need to do it because I want to play fucking 5, and I've been waiting for you. I haven't played 5. Like I played 4, but I need to play 5.
Yeah.
So, having said that, I'll go around the horn and let you guys, if you want to outro yourselves in any way, you can. I have been me, Tyrannus, Mike, whatever the fuck you want to call me. I don't care. And joining me tonight has been Brian. If you want to say anything to promo yourself or the other podcast, go for it now.
Sure. Yeah, you probably know Mike's bragged about the other podcast we're on, the Bryguy and His Superfriends podcast. I actually just uploaded our newest episode today, which Mike and I and another Mike and Ian and Josh was on too. It's been a long time coming. We finally sat down and watched the terrible Fantastic Four movie from 2015, so we talked about what we thought about that. So if you've listened to past episodes, we've talked about this for years, so we finally sat down and did it. So that is up. That is out.
And the link's down below.
I can link it if we want to.
There is a link below the stream to Bryguy and His Superfriends.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he's got it.
Take that over to Anchor FM, which can give you a link to any place else that you might want to listen to the podcast. iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio there.
Stitcher.
I don't remember.
Stitcher. I think we're on Stitcher too, yeah.
Yeah. Any place that you listen to podcasts, Anchor FM has a link to go listen to that podcast that he's talking about and many others.
Use promo code Freedom.
There's no promo code.
Is it terrible or is it fantastic? No, it was terrible.
You gotta listen to. I'm trying to plug the podcast so they listen.
Yeah,
if you don't know that Fan 4 Stick was terrible, then you don't have eyes on watching a preview or you've never heard of it. It's horrible. Tune in to listen to us rip it to shreds and shit all over that movie.
Could have been surprisingly good.
I don't think we shit all over that movie. I think we had a good, hearty discussion about what worked. And I explained away a lot of the issues, I feel like.
Yes.
Check it out for that, for the ultimate defense, Ian Ace Attorney.
That's true. Ian is a very good devil's advocate. He is good at that kind of thing. First you're hearing of the Fan 4 Stick movie. Well, there's a reason for that. But we finally watched it. It was myself, Ian, and the other Mike. It was our first time seeing it. And so we watched it, and then we discussed it right after as a group. It was bad. It was bad. But tune in to hear Ian's defense.
And some other fun stuff, probably. I haven't listened yet, so I don't know how much of the in-movie discussion makes it into the final cut.
None.
Okay.
Oh, really? You didn't include any of our ridiculous questions?
There wasn't enough there. I don't think anything to use, so no, I didn't use it.
You didn't really like what I yelled out. He fucking said it when he said cooperate time.
That's true. He did say cooperate time, and then right at the end, we're like, oh, "Is he gonna say fantastic? Is he gonna say?" He said fantastic. But
then he did say 4 for like another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
See, some of that stuff works for us as we're watching the movie, but if I just played those clips without actually hearing dialogue or something from the movie, no one would understand what the hell we're talking about.
That's your cold open. It doesn't have to make sense. It's just
I got a different cold open.
The Snyder cut.
I got to listen to it and find out. Oh, don't get me started on this Snyder cut shit again.
No, it's the Snyder cut of this podcast review we did.
Oh,
where he leaves in all that.
Yeah, he leaves everything in, and it just...
In real time, you have to wait like 10 minutes for us to talk again.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's sometimes where there's 25 minutes of dead silence.
And you're not allowed to sync it up.
Hear Josh eating through the movie.
Yes, yeah. We had to listen to that shit. But you have to as well now.
Picture.
So, Ian, is there anything you'd like to outro for yourself?
Well, I am the great Leon, and I have nothing to promo this week.
All right. So that's going to wrap us up for the week, guys. We will be back. What do you guys think? 2 weeks? I figure 2 weeks is good right now because it gives time for things to happen.
We'll see if I'm legally allowed to still be on the internet.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of quarantine time.
Yeah, it's a lot of quarantine time. Ian's been searching some questionable shit. He's gotten bored.
Your internet's just going to stop working. Not because your power goes out, but because you've been blocked from the internet.
That might happen. I've seen some shit.
So, it has been a lot of fun. And you can check this out. We're going to put this one up on YouTube. I still haven't gotten the first one up on YouTube because I got to get, like, I want to put an intro on it. And I got to get that done. But I need Amy to actually help me with that because I don't know how to do that shit. So, and I don't think I've asked. So it's not her fault. It's my fault for not asking.
Let's go, Amy. Come on. Get us working here.
We got to do that. But we're going to get these up onto YouTube at some point. So if you missed any of it, you can catch up on it. Follow me on Twitter at Tyrannus. You can find me down there below in the panels. Follow the channel if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, no, I didn't remind you. Just it's fine. If you enjoyed, you can follow Brian at Jedi Bryguy
for Twitter. Yep.
At Jedi Bryguy at Silver Age Ian on Twitter, and we will see you in 2 weeks. I should be back to streaming video games normally shortly after that. So I'll catch you guys then. Thanks for watching tonight.